What's the status, 3?
I'm good, just making the world a better place, that's all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace, the Dark Chameleon. Peace to the Listen, check it, yo. It was a cold April morning under the constellation Aries. The moon was 85% under the luminaries. From the celestial waters to the womb my soul was carried. Then my mother gave birth to a warrior visionary. But when I speak this truth, I feel like nobody hears me. Every once in a while, I get sight to someone blind, floating on the globe in a heliocentric lie. Dilate your pupils the more you open your eyes. The truth is sitting in plain sight like a disguise. Until my mother's death is revenge, I won't feel satisfied. It haunts me when I think about the phone call when she died. A river worth of tears shed from my eyes. So I looked up at the sky and I asked God why. It's been 21 years, I'm still waiting for a reply. Since birth I've been at war to attack our undeveloped minds. Indoctrination camps making us dumb, deaf and blind. I'm always thinking solutions, we are running out of time. The dirty witchcraft is weak, I see through all the lies. I clearly analyze all the symbols and the signs. When I connect dots, the truth starts to align. The people are the power, you can never eclipse my shine. I say the truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. They say hell burns and there's a one-way ticket for me. You create your heaven or hell whether or not you believe. I'm God and Satan, I have to balance out my chi. One day these seeds I plant will bloom so you can be all you can be. Never give up and always hold your head high, cause you are God, there's no need to look to the sky.
I came on feet.
H-O-T-C, hold the rudder chakras, hold the rudder chakras. H-O-T-C, hold the rudder chakras, hold the rudder chakras. H-O-T-C, hold the rudder chakras, hold the rudder chakras. H-O-T-C, hold the rudder chakras, hold the rudder chakras. My ideology is just an idea of the shit I run like diarrhea, waking up non-believers. And I'm not talking about Jesus neither. I got my dad and my mother's features. I use my nose to measure evil, the treasure keeper. My mind thoughts measure deeper but higher than Ebenezer. Weapon squeezer, lesson teacher. I've risen from what's left from reefer. You can feel the chakras forming space right between us. I travel Venus, and the ending's just beginning. Now we need ventilation just to walk the nation. We facing elimination. I'm looking at this shit sideways. Now we witnessing tidal waves. Mass destruction. Mother Earth going to war against the wrong people. Praying's out of the question, we had our chance to. And everything you read in Revelations is gonna come true. I speak in tongues, come from worlds beyond this atmosphere. Writing hieroglyphics, a descendant, building a pyramid with my brain. Like them Egyptians, the core of my mind enables me to travel back in time. You know the body stopped, but the soul will never die. 2,000 years ago, I was here, but in a different life.
Salute to the 7 people who came in and left. Piece to Drop, man. That's one of my favorite tracks Sir Drop has in his arsenal. I mean, he destroyed that verse. But anyway, what's the truth? You know, People enlighten me what they think about the truth. You know, what is the fucking truth? Is the truth because somebody says it's the truth? Or is truth the truth because there's facts backing it up? Because people say the globe's the truth, but they back it up with theories. The theory of gravity and so on and so forth. People say the sky's blue. But what's blue? Who taught you the sky was blue? See, because the system sets something in place, they say it's the truth. Oh, that's a fact, the sky is blue. Well, somebody that lives in the tribe that's not a part of the system might say the sky is whatever they say it is. You know, I sit back after, I research and shit, and I always ask myself, is this shit even truth that we're reading? Is it truth because it was put in position as the truth and people just think it's the truth? And mostly everything that comes off of this fucking device or internet is put in place by the system, or it's regurgitated stuff. People call it a truth movement, or is it a truth cult, right? You go to some channels, and if they don't agree with what you're saying, they'll mute you or boot you out. Are they pushing truth, or are they pushing a cultish type of way? A paradigm, or what's the word I'm looking for? A cultish script. Who likes my new screen saver picture? I think that's a fire picture. 4 elements. I couldn't find one with 5 elements, but the ether as fire as this. Whoever did this picture, salute to them. Anyway, I'm gonna wait and see if more people come up in here. I want to see what people have to say about truth. What is the fucking truth? What is truth, man? Enlighten me. Everybody says they have the truth, or not everybody. Most people say they have the truth. And I'm not downing anyone, but people say, like I said yesterday, well, we're surrounded by an ice wall. People are so sure of a lot of things, but they've never been there. So it's like saying you can, hold on, didn't I just see a comment from Anna K? Now it's not there. There it is. Peace, Anna K. Thank you. Yeah, you popped up, and I'm like, at the same time I was putting the link down there, and I seen your comment, and it disappeared. Where the fuck is Lonnie? He begs me to watch these videos, and I'm thinking I'm gonna see a UFO. Shout out to Lonnie though, but damn, bro, you gotta hold the fucking camera still. Lonnie's recording this thing in the sky, which I think was a helicopter or an airplane. And he's not holding the fucking camera still. A lot of cameramen do bad jobs. Even I do at times. What's up, Christos? Hey.
Did you say Christmas toes?
No, I said Christos.
I think it just broke up there for a second. I thought you were just giving me a goofy ass name for a second.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So here's, I think I already kind of explained it. I felt, I had to go live because I don't want to just cancel on people randomly or reschedule too much. So I had really nothing in mind except I saw some people were live, and I know people wanted me to go live even if it's just a couple hours. And sure enough, man, I was seeing people that, I mean, have been coming through to support me since like my first couple streams. And it was super cool, man. It was very casual. At the beginning, it was a little rusty, but I got into the flow pretty quickly. And I
Yeah, I was
wasn't
watching
necessarily
it.
dropping gems, but I was definitely playing some interesting clips, even if you don't know, some of the context of who the people or the situations are necessarily. Objectively, you can still find some humor in some of the stuff I was reviewing, because these YouTube streets are pretty crazy. But yeah, man, I was pretty happy to see people come through, that have been coming through since the start. I was a little surprised, honestly, because if I don't go live for months and months, it's not like people are unsubscribing necessarily, but with the algorithm and stuff, it's easy for people to miss channels, especially if they're subscribed to a lot of people. So,
Yeah, my
not to
bad.
really just
I
talk
missed
about
your
me,
live.
oh shit, I can't hardly hear you, Charles.
Oh, hold on. I know why.
Yeah, man, but I was just wanted to say I am going to be going more in depth and have something that's like considerably more polished. And I'm going to shoot for 8 hours, like between 6 and 8 hours. Like, I want to do a long stream because that shit's fun.
Wow.
And the longer you do a stream, the more of a window that you give, like a bigger window you give to people to hop in and see your live and maybe hit the link. You can
How
get
do
a
I
mix of
sound in the chat, everyone?
analytics. I can hear you now, bro. Go ahead, you got it.
I said my bad for missing your live, man. I woke up this morning and I said, "Oh shit!" But I started watching it, and yeah, you had no, that wasn't your live where few people were up there, right? Yeah,
No,
there was people talking,
I didn't
and
have
then you
anyone on
came.
my panel, but I was reviewing a couple panels in the beginning. I did hop
Oh,
on
okay,
one, but I didn't
figured
really end up
that.
saying anything. And so I just kind of ended up leaving because it really wasn't the vibe that I was thinking at the time. But there were 2 videos reviewed that were shared to me by a community member that goes by the Tribe. He's a pretty smart dude when
Yeah,
it comes to like legal,
and that
lawful
other
stuff,
guy, you
financial.
you reviewed
Yeah.
that guy who said he watched addicts collect stuff and then go in the corner like a rat, and then you changed the video. I was watching as much as I could. That was funny because he ain't lying. I've seen some wild shit in my life, man, and man, he's not lying. It's pretty funny, but it's not.
Right. It's funny in the sense of if you know the context of who the character is that's speaking, it's very ironic what he's saying because in a way he actually fits the description that he's actually saying there. But that's besides the point. I wasn't trying to, just clown people on my stream, but there were a couple moments, I was like, what is going on here? But there were 2 specific videos about the banks, and one about CBDC, and that was pretty wild, bro. It was from years back, and it was out of the UK, and like, I kind of forgot that they are really rolling out some of that type of crazy digital currency bullshit and centralized banking craziness over in Europe. The European Union, man, I've heard some fuck shit going on over there. We all know Canada. It's just like the Commonwealth. The Crown countries seem to be some of the first to have this stuff rolled out and beta tested.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm all over the
This.
place right now. You got it, bro.
No, I went to your channel so I could drop the link for you in the chat because Faceplant wants it. So I'm dropping it right now. I'm dropping your link, Christos.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Because yeah, bro, there was a few people actually in some other live chats that weren't subscribed to me, or like, you know, they do unsub people. There's a couple people that have gotten unsubbed from like either their backups or whatever. And it's like, what the fuck, man? You know, you can genuinely miss out on stuff and not realize you're unsubscribed. So that's another reason to not be subscribed to just like tons and tons of channels, especially like the
Yeah,
bullshit big ones, or you're gonna miss the gems in between it all
yeah.
from the
I
smaller
gotta
channels.
unsubscribe, man. I'm just like subscribed to so many channels that it's ridiculous. Because I try to sub to everyone who subs to me. I'll sub back, and a lot of people don't even make content. Did you get the link, Faceplant? Uh-oh. Can't hear you. Oh, boy. Faceplant. He's going to have a bad connection.
Yeah, you know, I was having fun keeping it casual last night, and I was happy. Like I said, there was, you know, Kimbo was there, came by. I think Soama in the beginning, you know, stopped by to drop the like and say hi. Like, there was a couple people that stopped by, but you know, towards the end, um, you know, like Sunkissed, not not to be confused
Years from
with
now, Canadian banks have
Ian's
been
friend,
invading the
but
United States.
Sunkissed
There's
with the sun
putting
emoji.
stadiums and everything.
Holy
There's
cows!
TD Bank, BMO, which is Bank of Montreal, which is
You're
Royal Bank of
breaking up a
Canada,
lot, bro.
Scotia
You're
Bank, which is
lagging and
Bank of
breaking
Nova
up.
Scotia. They like own sports
Came in
teams
out of
and build
nowhere, bro.
stadiums in the United States.
You're crackling as
Maybe.
well.
Yeah, maybe he can't hear us. You
Yeah,
were
there's
in the
gotta be
middle.
some type of delay because all of a sudden he came in out of
CIBC
nowhere.
is
Yeah, but I'm
Canadian
just
Imperial
rambling about the
Bank of
people I was
Commerce.
talking to. Go ahead, bro. Unless you're lagging as fuck.
Hold on, let's see if I wanted you to finish what you were saying, Chris, but
Yeah, no worries, man. I was really kind of just, you know, it wasn't that important, bro. But what I will say is important. It's
well,
good that you finally got the special package for StreamYard, dog. That looks good with your little emblem, your little logo up in the top right.
oh, I'm glad you said that. There's a new
Yeah, that's
a
clean.
new logo I want to put. That's trolling, yo. I want to see if it works. I hope it does. Let's see. It's sort of like the emblem you had on your live stream, but I had downloaded this. Watch, I'm gonna troll with it. Let's see, I hope it works, man. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm about to really start working on some memes where I'm like copying and pasting my face onto like movie covers and shit, like iconic pictures or whatnot, and just, you know, make it funny. You know, where it's like obviously that we Photoshop the face in, but it won't be like boxes, you know, like horrible editing, but just good enough, you know. Anyway, face
Oh, it
plant.
works!
Oh, let's go.
It works! It spins and everything. Alright.
Yo, that's
I'm the
dope,
troll.
bro.
I found
I
this
knew
on
you
a
could do that for
website.
the backgrounds. I didn't know you could do that for the emblem too, or the
What,
logo.
you could put moving backgrounds?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm about to do it now. I got some dope ass pictures that move. I'll do it another time. But I didn't know that. Thanks.
Yeah, there's a
Telling me.
couple things I gotta get straight for StreamYard in my streams, man, because like I want to have the soundboard, you know, I want to be able to play clips like that I already have uploaded as MP4, but I need to go ahead and start, you know, cutting clips from YouTube and converting them, or downloading them as MP4s or however the fuck. I haven't done this. It's like simple computer tech stuff, some of this stuff, but I haven't done. I'm not inept, you know. Obviously, I'm a younger cat, so like I've been around the technology, but there are some things where it's like, oh man, you know, I haven't worked around with Photoshop or editing or, you know, sound effects or soundtracks for making little stop motion videos and shit. Like, I used to be somewhat more literate with tech than I am now. Um, you know, so I will admit that. But nonetheless, man, you know, a lot of the shit's pretty easy with StreamYard, and I really like what they're allowing us to do here recently. More options they're giving us, and making it more worthwhile to have the more expensive packages, or the next more, not maybe not the higher ones, but yeah. You got
I
it,
hate when
Charles.
this happens, man. It don't cover the whole page. I don't know, whatever. Like this picture. It's downtown where I live, and the statue. Like, I got to figure out how to make these pictures longer. I don't like short pictures. I like it like that, or at least like this one. I don't know, whatever.
Oh, you mean full screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. There's certain things that it's like, yeah, there's certain little things I gotta mess around with still. But I forgot what they call it, the little things you throw up there, the covers.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like photos, but it doesn't open at the
Overlay.
whole screen. Yeah, you gotta do like the virtual background type shit, green screen option they give you, but like cover your camera so it actually is not gonna show any of your room or yourself, but it will show the picture that you upload as your green screen background in full, at like as a full screen image. Now it might be a little more pixelated depending what type of image it is, you know, and the
Yeah,
resolution.
I
But
seen you do that yesterday, Chris. When the
yeah,
live you did, I was
exactly.
watching you do it. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, you can put your virtual thing for the background. So yeah, I seen you doing it when you were clicking the buttons. I was watching what you were doing. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly, bro. Exactly. You know, and I'm pretty happy with what I have right now, but like I do continue to keep doing this into the future, slowly but surely, more regularly, and eventually I am gonna have to get like a somewhat of a high quality professional mic, just because a lot of people out here I've seen do it, even if they're not like trying to do anything super crazy and like have a big channel, it still helps with the quality of the content. Even though my headphones are JBL and they're pretty good, even if I'm doing wireless Bluetooth. But I could probably get a more crispy mic audio with my actual mic. And then I am going to want to get a different camera because my laptop camera, it definitely, you know, it depends some of the lighting, but it can be pretty fuzzy. But if there's natural lighting, it helps. But when you're under fucking LEDs and shit and like uh, indoor lighting, and I noticed it makes it more grainy usually with how you're coming through, at least from what I've noticed.
Huh.
Shadow and all the angle and all whatever. R.I.P. Faceplant.
Nah, yeah, there's not a lot of people because I do the live stream. I don't give it time. I don't give them time to send out. I think you're supposed to have it an hour ahead of time, and they'll send out things. But if you do it before an hour, this is what I heard. It won't send out.
Oh, that makes sense because usually it's the 30 minutes before. So like, yeah, an hour or sometime over 30 minutes. I'm not sure exactly, but that sounds right. Probably an hour or more ahead of time. Yeah, there's definitely some tools to the trade, bro. Um, you know, StreamYard doesn't always even accurately report how many live viewers there are. Because at one point, I went from like very early in my stream last night, was reviewing some, or not reviewing, I was looking around in the metaverse, seeing who to restream and just what was going on. And I wasn't looking at the live chat there for a couple of minutes, and I did notice the numbers went down just because I wasn't interacting with the people that were entering right away. So that's definitely something I'm pretty good about. But it had been a while since I streamed, and I kind of got lost in my own thoughts, looking around. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not talking to the people in the live chat. But it was interesting because as soon as it went down to like 2-1-0, and I wasn't really sweating it because I hadn't been live in a long time. All of a sudden, I'm seeing like 2 or 3 people are in the chat talking, but it's showing me that there's 0 people watching. So right then and there, I was like, okay, like definitely not always the most accurate or up to date what StreamYard shows you with comments or like quote unquote number of live viewers.
Look at peace, Dominic. It's good to see you here, man. I picked this topic mainly for you to come, because we were talking about what is truth, and that's
Cool.
such a good topic. Yeah, and I tell who enlighten me on what the truth is. People always say they have the truth, but what's the truth? Because and people say the sky's blue, and they say that's a fact, that's the truth. Well, what if there's a guy in a tribe might say something else because he's not a part of the system? Anyway, look at the new back screen I put. I think that's pretty dope. I didn't know you could use video.
Wait, it's a video in the background. It looks like 2 still images. I see your background, the rocky red mountains or whatever, but this thing in the middle. Oh, okay. Are there bees flying around?
Oh, that's an owl. Don't tell me you can't see the owl. Can everyone in the chat see the owl?
These people drive like fucking cunts, bro. I swear. Yeah, I see the owl there, bro. I thought it was a beehive for a second with what I was looking at.
Yeah, this is tough. I didn't know you could put video. And I forgot. I downloaded this little video right here. 'Cause I just like the owl, man. The owl. It's so, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Majestic. They could see at night. Every time I look at an owl, it reminds me of the sun, the moon, and the pole in the center, the way its face is shaped. Oh, testosterone dropped off. Dominic's gone. But yeah. Let's see how many people got something negative to say about my logo there. Huh. So I don't know. Maybe nobody will come through. But the truth to me is like something you can prove. It's not. My bad, I zoned out. Peace, Scott Severini. Like, to me, sometimes run out of topics to talk about. Like, when it comes to like the government and shit, we all know what's up, And I've beat a dead horse so many times that I really feel no need to beat a dead horse anymore. Dominic.
Hey, Charles.
How you doing, Dominic?
I'm doing pretty good. If you want to continue, I'll hear you.
I just thought about the conversation that we were having. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember, but about the truth. And because I was reading something and I was like, what is the truth, right? And I think about how people are like cults and stuff. You know, they say they're for the truth and they're open-minded, but if you go to their channel and you're not agreeing with everything they say, or it's like a cult. A lot of these channels, they'll kick you out or talk over you. They don't let you speak your mind. They say they have the truth, and it's crazy. Like, if you don't agree with them on their so-called truth, then you know they don't want to hear you out. That's why I say, you know, what's the truth? People say, like I use for an example, the sky's blue, but says who? The person who created the word blue, right? So
Perceptions at that point.
yeah.
And if a person was blind, what would they perceive the sky as?
Huh.
So is that a lot of people will deem the word truth towards something such as what they can see or touch, and and there's some validity to that statement. But again, who's the one that's speaking, that is giving those words? Because a lot of times it's just words, you know. So are we even to think that the word itself is truth? True.
Huh.
It's a tongue twister for a lot of people because they don't question what they perceive, you know.
Right. Does the sky exist to a blind person?
Mm-hmm. Or to a deaf person. They might be able to see something, you'll point to it, but then they don't hear you saying it's blue. So people figure because they say something to somebody else and they say, well, I agree. What are they agreeing upon? It's a perception. I'm using another word to describe it, but it's just an opportunity to make sure I just don't lean to one word. You know, I could say the word thought opposed to perception. You know, but if it is a perception, then who's the perceiver? And then some people will say, well, it's me. Well, who's me? And then each one you could turn around and say it's the truth. So what is truth? Is it just in words only? Or is it, some people would say, agreeance? Especially if you find out that you're looking for classifications in these things. Outside of that, then some people would say, well, then we could say almost anything. I said, yes, you could.
You like my my moving, I don't even know what to call it, symbol there? I'm trolling today.
You know, movies. Where are you talking in the background with the owl or something? Sorry.
Oh, no. The Mason symbol. The Mason G. See how it moves? I got that from a website. I was like, oh, they're going to let me download the moving picture? I said, I'm trolling with this, man. Let's see how many people be like, Chuck's a Mason, man. I told you. Next, I'm going to take a picture next to a brick wall. That'll really that'll trigger them.
Well, see, some people would see that sign and then, like you said, Charles, be triggered. A person like me is like, okay, so they have one thing and it's making a circle and the other one's angle. So what are they trying to say? You know, what's the meaning behind that?
It reminds me of our realm. Maybe the firmament is shaped like, maybe we live on a diamond. The land, the higher you go, you know, the land is shaped like a triangle. The higher you are, it's cold. The lower you go, it gets warmer. So we could live in a diamond, more or less.
I guess, Charles, this is where you said earlier, you know, when you point to the sky and you say it's blue, this is where we pay attention, where somebody else will say, well, why do we limit ourselves discussing about blue? Can I talk about the other thing in the corner there? What do you mean? That thing that people call the sun? Or what about the clouds? Some people don't have a single driven look at only one thing. So, like I said, that symbol that you're showing there has probably many meanings to it, but people will make a quick judgment, and this is where people get into their likes and dislikes, and they say, "Well, I don't like masonry." Oh, okay, but you're missing the opportunity. There's more to the story, and that's what some people would call their truth. It's limitations that people put upon themselves. Now they could turn around and say, well, isn't that what the media does? Is that they can only do something that you've already done to yourself. That's why when certain people watch movies, they'll see everything like on a corner of their eyes, or they'll have a thought and they say, but I'm not just seeing the one thing. Or they'll realize, oh, there's background music going on with these movies. Interesting. Or somebody will say, I'm playing music, doesn't matter what genre it is, but I'm feeling the frequencies in the music. Oh, really? So you haven't been totally indoctrinated. And again, some people say, well, that'll be my truth. Or what some people will say, that's fact.
I used to say that a lot, man. And
Sure.
somebody, it was Dread, I'll never forget it. And Dread, I would be in the live stream and I'd be like, facts, right?
Yep.
To when people would say something, and he said he did some like little thing on his channel about people saying facts. That's facts, right? And that deaded my whole, I thought about it and I was like, damn.
Here's other words.
I stopped using it.
Yeah. Here's other words. Words up, or it's a minute. All the conditioning that goes on. Words up. And then the other people use words like C words or N words. And I'm like, do you actually even hear yourself? Because if they did, I said, you're parroting things. But they think it's cool. I said, and where do you think the idea of cool came from? It's like, it's cool. Okay, so are you using the slang word of cool? Are you telling me that it's cold outside? And then people get all offended when somebody will say that, well, that's sloppy language. But you know what I mean? I said, no, that's your job to understand what you mean. I'm hearing you. We all do it in our own way. I just find it humorous.
I kind of was growing up in a time where it would bring your creativity out. People didn't want to copy everyone else. People would like something, and then, me personally, I would want to create my own slang or language, my own terms or quotes or whatever the hell people want to call them. Copying somebody was, nobody wanted to be a clone. People wanted to create their own lane. Now, it seems more or less people are just cloning everything. They watch TV and they want to be exactly like that person. They don't want to be, just be yourself. And I'm not downing everyone because they know no better. Especially children. They're not even, they don't have a strong foundation. And their minds aren't developed. So what's going to happen?
Well, here's another term. You just said it too. You go to certain channels and they say something, let's build. And meanwhile, I'm inside going, okay, let's play around with words. What's the foundation? Because if you're building on something and you don't test the foundation, then how do you know it's going to even hold up? I know it's just words, but unfortunately, most people don't realize how much it actually brings to what people will say the truth. Saying something is love, let alone saying something is truth. How do we not know there's not energy behind it? Hence, when we say intent.
Like if you asked me, I said, let's build. And you said, what's the foundation? I'll say the title.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is where we get the
concept. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Question things. Question our own words. Not question others. Question our own words. Like I will question what others say. I won't question them. That's not my role. It can never be my role. Anybody that thinks otherwise, I said they haven't done any investigation. So I'll question the word hello or hello. Is it trying to imply hell and whatever the O is, because they brought in the word O. Then what is hell? This is where people start breaking down things. Like some people can break down music, or they'll break down a painting that somebody did. But unfortunately, most people just resort to attacking somebody. I said, well, then that's a bigger responsibility. What do you mean? You would have to get to know who they are what they stood for, how they were raised, what environment they are. But most people make a quick judgment, color of their skin, their gender. That's my limitation. And then they wonder why that they have such a narrow view on their own existence. But then they're the ones that are going to parrot words like, yo, the truth, man. I'm like, okay, guys, you guys are just talking like little children. Yeah, but you don't understand. I said, that's not my job. And then they'll say, I'm taller. I'm like, that doesn't mean fuck all when it comes to understanding energy. And then they won't even question, oh, we're on a device. This is why, I've heard people talk about the elites. If we're using devices that they probably pay other people to create.
The word device. Sorry. When you said it, I broke it down and I was like, die and then vice. That sounds negative, right? Like this thing is a vice for sure. That's why it's called a device. The word divide, die, device. It's like this thing is a vice. People are hooked to it. Weighs you down, maybe, right?
Anchors, yeah. I use the word anchor, for example. Yes, and it can weigh us down. Or some people call it when they've had that like out-of-body experience and they come back, they feel it's more, the energy is more tighter here and lighter somewhere else. Again, people are trying to describe things with a language. There could be the energy, what I might assume truth, but then I'll use a word to describe it. And then other people might not have experienced it, but they can still parrot the same word. Or they observe it. Because, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're always experiencing everything. I'm observing people play basketball. I'm not actually experiencing myself playing basketball. But even though I've played basketball before, so I can associate what I assume what other people are doing. Because I'm not dunking a ball like Shaquille, but I play basketball.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Every time I try to dunk, man, I could barely just get my finger over the rim. And I was like, white people can't jump.
No, that's not a true statement. But then again,
I know.
I've never seen a white person. But then again, a ladder, you could use the ladder if you want to look at it. But I get what people are trying to say with their own capabilities,
Kimba and Lonnie, I watched that video you sent me. Just now that you're here, I said it earlier. Man, you got to keep the camera more straight. But I think it was a plane or a helicopter that you were recording with the blinking lights and the way it sounded. Anyway.
Okay, so here's an example. Me and you, we experience, let's say, talking to a creature and it identifies it's an alien. We've seen it now. When we're speaking to ourselves, what would we call it? And if we're speaking to other people, are we going to say it's the truth? Are we going to say it's factual? Especially if somebody's never experienced it before. What would that be to them when we said that we were talking to an alien? Unless people realize they're never going to grasp it unless they were there. So what was heard then, that's where people can put a discernment. The alien told us that there's going to be a couple of earthquakes. Oh, okay. Huh. Now, some people say, okay, so what would be the discernment? Well, Dominic and in this case, Charles told us there could be an earthquake. Well, I haven't experienced the earthquake. Well, then you're going to have to experience it then. This is where people say words like, I won't believe it until I see it. I said, once you see it, it's no longer about beliefs. It's about knowing. Now, the question would be, why didn't you trust Dominic and Charles when they told you that? Because I didn't have enough in my program to feel as though I could trust somebody that I've never experienced. That's why some people just don't trust anybody, because they live very self-absorbed. But there should be times where somebody has shown you over and over again that they're trustworthy, and then they're teaching them how to be trustworthy. But most people are misleading themselves, and they'll say words like lie. They're just misleading themselves. Again, I'm playing with words again, same with the word lie. I mean truth. But people will make an avid point, but that's the truth. I said, just because you keep saying it over and over again, how do you know it's the truth? Have you tried using different combinations of words to combat that? And then a person will realize, oh, so when they say the word love, it's not literally unconditional. No, they're saying the word love, but more times than not, they're saying things like obligation and duty. But that's not love then. No, it isn't, but the word is.
That word love is strong. Peace to Candy in native Michigan, Ojibwe. I remember I had told, it was the probably the first and only true love of my life in high school times. I told her I love you, and she goes, "Do you?" She goes, "You don't even love yourself. How can you love me?" I was like, damn. 'Cause I used to drink alcohol and smoke weed. She's like, "How can you love anything else? You don't even love your own self." I was like, wow. I think about that now, and it blew my wig back when she said that, 'cause it's so true.
Now, if people start using other words, they'll say it resonates more, like "I desire you." Ah, that resonates way more than saying the word love. Or "I feel obligated to you." Nah, that's not love. See, this is where we're using the wrong energy words to describe things. But when you do, then people can say, "Ah, it resonates with me. Ah, that resonates with me way more than that other word I said." So, but people will overlap everything. "Oh, I love," or if people say everything's a lie, "You're lying to me." Not really. I'm just not telling you the whole story yet. "Well, that's a lie." I said, "Oh, so you're still going to narrow it to one ideal, one word." But you're missing the whole idea. It goes back to looking at that icon. Somebody looks at that and they'll quickly say, but it's masonry. I don't like masonry. Your likes and dislikes are in the way. You can't perceive things. It's like, I'll give you another example. Again, I like using different examples, where if somebody wants to have a better grasp about how America works, they can't vote, because if you vote, you've picked a side. And now you're going to narrow your perception of things. Yeah, but I have to vote. I said, now you're reinforcing a vote. Can we stay far enough back to realize, it's not really about flat earth and globism. No, it's not. It's not really about the glass half full, half empty. No. But then people will say, but I'm a flat earther. I'm like, you've taken on a mask. That's like saying I'm a truther. That's another mask, a persona.
Another label.
Yeah. Well done. Another label. But how many different labels are there in a store in a grocery store? As many. Why does people only go towards one? Why is it where we can be in a whole thousands of people, and then we see the one person that we have familiarity with, but meanwhile we won't talk to all the other 999 people? Why are we so limiting ourselves? Now it goes back to truth. Is it truth, or is it maybe another word like perception?
Labels can be not misleading, but
no, they can be.
They can, yeah. But I'm looking for a better word. They can be like, not an illusion, but how can I put it? It's like judging a book by its cover. Just because the label looks good and it says positive stuff, don't mean it's actually that. Like a lot of the food, or let's use restaurants, fast food, right? You'll see a picture of the sandwich. When the hell does that sandwich ever look like that when you buy it? And then come to find out, it's not even a real sandwich in the picture. They use different stuff to make it look appealing to the eye, certain colors. So there's a lot of magic being used and illusions in these labels. And there's labels all over the place, like you said. So
they've worked all kinds of people, how they copy and paste things to give the woman the perception of how they should look like. You even said a word, just to play on the word, a better word opposed to just another word. Because a lot of times we want the effect, and of course we get terms like cause and effect. I said, but I've never seen air, so how will I ever know what the cause is? I know it's effect and side effects. We live in a realm called the effect and side effect. Unless people know where language comes from, let alone where the light comes from, they'll say, but the sun. I said, those are flashlights. Where does the light come from? And to give you another visual for some people, why do you think the yin and yang sign looks like two little objects within bigger objects? And why is it a spinning 6 and 9? Now they say, well, that's not what it is. I said, I'm just giving you descriptions. It's for you to use your imaginations to look at objects, symbols. But a lot of us want to narrow it down to, but this is the way it is. I'm like, for today it is, maybe even in that moment. But
they look like two tadpoles spinning in a circle, opposite ways.
Valid point. You've just shared another perception. It goes back to looking at a painting, and you can have thousands of words. Now, dare not have the person that actually made the painting, and they'll try to explain to him what they were thinking about. Other people say, oh, but that's a lie. I said, I just told you my perception of why I created it. But yes, even the creator can say, well, but you're still allowed to have all your different perceptions. This is where people get caught up in right and wrong, opposed to just right and left.
Crystal said deviation. I just wanted to say that before I forget. And
That's-
fluid reality.
Crystal, you might
Said
you might have
deviation? Was that the word? Let me see.
divination or deviation. Well done, by the way, Crystal. So
Yeah, deviation. Yeah. I don't even know what deviation means, truthfully.
that's why we need Crystal up here. He pops a lot of good words. He has quite the expansive perception, and I appreciate that about Christoph.
Yeah, I try to, when I write rhymes, I try to look up at least 2 to 3 words. I catch myself using words over and over, so I either have my thesaurus or, well, now I have the phone, so it's even easier. And I try to look up new words, look at the definition, learn them, and use them, because English is such a wide variety of words that why not use them and apply them?
Well, this is where it goes after thought. We can either look up words in a dictionary, like a book form, or we can communicate and say, Siri, give us this word, and then she'll speak it out loud. But what about those people that said, I don't use spoken, little, and written work. I just go inwards, and I hear them. It's like, I'll give you an example. People will, because we're living in a different age now with different technology. So somebody in, say, maybe 20 years ago, even 30 years ago, that's never been presented to a cell phone would see a person say, I'm talking to voices in my head. Then people will label them as schizophrenic. But meanwhile, you can see a guy walking down the street now with a cell phone, and he's talking, and somebody, who are you talking to? I'm talking to somebody on a live chat. It's energy. So those people that were actually talking to things in their heads, they were probably having a group conversation. Just nobody ever taught them. When you have that, you have the ability to do that. Learn to talk to them, opposed to thinking other people think you're weird. It's like people that can do beatbox. They don't need instruments. They use their own voice. But then again, I get it. We sometimes now have to manifest things in the material, so then people can maybe compare, play what other people can do with their voice. Like there's certain people that have a deep voice. I cannot talk that way, let alone a shallow voice. But we can mimic it with instruments. That's why when people say, when, especially now, because the genres a lot of times with rap, and they're talking about whoever the elites are, I say, but you're using their instruments, aren't you? The mic that you're using, the platform to promote your records, your CDs, or whatever, because, we've had so many different kinds of ways to, harness voice. Think about first time you've ever seen a record player from a child that has an imagination. So how do you trap your mom's voice in that little spinny little device with that little turntable and that little needle and all that? So then what is truth at that point? Again, it's just a perception. I'm just using another word. Here you go, Scott, you shared something too. There's another word that people fling around, reality. I use the word sometimes just to change up a little bit. Story. What is reality? Something I can touch, something I can smell. So then where are thoughts? How do I give a label to that? Is that reality? Again, I'm just playing with words against guys. Word playing.
Sorry about that. It booted me out.
No problem. Welcome back, Charles. I was just telling Christoph, maybe the truth police took you.
No, I was trying to I have this picture of the yin and yang, and as the sun and moon, and it spins, and I was going to use that as a little symbol or a backdrop. Now that I know I can put moving pictures and moving logos, and I'm going to create my own moving logo.
There you go. I'll give you mine.
I can't find it. It always does that. I'm in StreamYard. I don't know why it kicks me out. You know, I'm in StreamYard trying to pick a picture and it boots me out. I got to figure out why it does that. Try to stop it. But, you know, I'm into like hypnotization and MK Ultra and programming the mind. You know, these people that so-called run the show, that's why they have mental hospitals and all this stuff and psychiatrists, because they're studying the people, man. They're studying how people think, how people move, you know, all that, because they want to be able to herd the masses easier. I'm coming, Christos. So, hey, what happened?
Welcome
Oh,
back,
no,
Christoph.
not remove.
Uh-oh. No.
There we go. It was
He's
blinking
dunking
when
me.
I went to put them up.
Hey, mic check. You hear me all right, guys? Uh-oh.
Scott said,
Hello?
yeah, we hear you.
Oh,
Loud and
okay.
clear.
All right, yeah.
The
Yeah,
Smoky
go ahead.
God. No, Scott Severini said, Charles, you once covered the book The Smoky God. Pretty sure I met that entity, but didn't have to travel to deeper earth to do it. The Smoky God.
Hey, you know, that's actually interesting, Charles, because when I hear that, it just makes me think of some type of, you know, being made out of smoke, you know, almost like etheric type. And I've heard people describe, I know this is kind of a random insertion here, but what you just said made me think of this, like like a almost like a demon, like a fire demon would have like smoke coming off of it, kind of similar to that, uh, but less fire, I guess, and more smoke. And people have described such beings uh, in their salvia trips where they've actually seen, like, you know, what they could have only described and trying to recall it as a demonic being that is like made out of like black smoke, basically. Kind of like the Balrog from Lord of the Rings. You know, it's a fire demon, right? And it has like smoke coming off of it. Now it's not like completely clouded in that smoke, but I've heard people describe things that are very reminiscent of like a, I guess, quote unquote, you know, for lack of better words and description, like a smoke being, just like there might be, you know, in fantasy worlds, the rock golems. You know, it's like it's an elemental being, I guess, is kind of the point that I'm trying to make here. If there's like forest, water elementals, you know, the air elementals. It's like this is where I can tie it in and come full circle. And I'm just kind of spitballing here, but um, uh, an air elemental
Did you say spitballing or
deviation
speedballing?
would be a smoke elemental, right? Because it's spitballing, like brainstorming, just kind of on the go with what I'm thinking. Yeah, all I was saying is to bring up that word deviation, it's like an extension of or a fractal out from something prior or initial. So a deviation from an air elemental would be like a smoke elemental. You know, it's still a form within that air element, but you know, it's converted. It's, you know, made itself a slightly different form while still being within that category, quote unquote, of the air elementals. You know, it would be the same thing as like culture has subculture, you know, or a file has files inside it, you know. So I'm bringing deviation back into this because deviation could also be like another word could be like fractalized if you're someone that is like experienced those things or understands the concept of breaking, a fractioning off from, but still having a piece of the initial. So that's all I was saying when I brought up the word deviation. Something you, you were using different words, and we were kind of like Dom was saying, playing with the words, kind of and just seeing where it goes in a way, because you gotta be willing to play around and not really judge the process or the results, and you'll actually find that gems come out of that, childlike curiosity, exploring the words, you know. Uh, anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because you were saying you didn't understand or know the word deviation. Now, I could bring up the actual dictionary definitions, right? But that's just my understanding, so far, bringing it back to, fluid reality, what Dom was saying. Like something could be today, but not tomorrow. Uh, but yeah, y'all got it.
I was thinking about spelling. I remember in high school, middle school, elementary, taking spelling, and it never clicked to me in them days. Um, the word spelling went over my head, and I didn't know anything about us casting spells with this language or what's the other word I want to call it? There's another word for language. I said it the other day.
Tongue,
No.
dialect,
Any.
which is like an extension, or I'm going to be using that wrong. It's like a form of language.
Lexicon. Damn.
There you
That's
go.
the word,
Hey, yo, that's a
lexicon.
great word, bro. Hey, real quick, Charles, before you finish that thought, the first place or the first person I for real heard that word from? Killer Priest. I
Yeah.
probably heard it from
I heard
someone
it from
beforehand in
ODD.
passing.
Yeah, ODD
Yeah,
TV
okay,
in this
word.
rhyme he used it, and I was like, "What the hell is a lexicon?" Right? I thought it was like a transformer or something, and I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, okay." That's why I like rap, like MCs that use words and talk about topics, or they plant seeds in their rhymes, which will cause you to go look stuff up so you can learn something. That's the type of hip hop I like. I don't like it's all right once in a while to hear people talking about guns and all this and that and drugs. Yeah, it's cool and all, but it gets played out quick and it puts you in a negative place. I want to hear it's time for people to flip this shit back around. Stop rapping about smoking dead people and killing people. Put some fucking knowledge and wisdom in your rhymes so these young generation could uplift themselves. Fuck the record labels and fuck what they say that you should put out. Be yourself and put what you want out. Like, money definitely is the root to evil when you let it, control you to the point where you'll sign a contract and then you're told what to do. I couldn't do that. It's that spelling, that MK Ultra type, uh, is being used on the whole world.
Yeah,
Greatest
so
weapon.
I
Now go
said
ahead.
this lesson. Yeah, I said well, what you're saying was on point. And basically it was making me think of what I said last night. Because I heard, I've heard other people make these points, but simply put, I was listening to Paul Enslaved yesterday, and he had said a lot of this legal, lawful, terminology and rhetoric and etymology and the wording, you'll see as you get into it and start understanding, however you want to put it, that it's related to electric, terminology or divination terminology and words, it often relates back to those two, if we want to categorize it, spheres. So divination, like, well, I think we know what that is. I don't need to give an example. And then electromagnetism, repossession. There's a couple examples that have been brought up for people that follow this stuff. You start breaking down the words and you see the hidden meanings, basically, as we know. But yeah, it does relate to divination and electrical language as well, because this is an electromagnetic universe. And, they know that. It's electric, it's the transferring of energy. Hence the vampiric part of what's going on here, the quote unquote energy harvesting. Not that I believe everything, but I'm not like approaching that negatively when I say energy harvesting, because, to harvest is not inherently, going back to what Don would say about likes and dislikes, it's like, we don't have to think of a harvest as, they're taking from us, and as if that's a bad thing, because this is a realm of exchange. And to go back to the fluid reality, as I said earlier, it's like energy is constantly being exchanged. So it's like we gotta remove initially that layer of judgment and just see the objective reality of how this is a realm of things feeding off each other. Anyway, y'all got it.
Okay. So I'll elaborate a little bit on what you've been talking about. So when people talk about energy and then they say things, I don't want to be negative. I said, you're missing the thing that supports the positive energy. So there's a hypnosis going on, whether it's in a written form. So people that pursue things like Karma's law and all that, most of them don't realize how hypnotic they become. Words do that to people. So now when people play with music, there's poetry in music. And in poetry, especially like rap, there's a bass tone to it. So people have to understand, what does bass do to a person, let alone what a poetry does. When a person doesn't like a particular type of music and they'll say it's negative, I said, then you're missing the unknown, the negative part. So when you look at the sign of the yin and yang, it's a swirling thing. They have to be balanced. So positive is just the ongoing program. The negative part, the unknown part, the feminine part, that's the one that runs it. It's kind of like watching a computer. There's a hard drive and then there's all those apps on top of it. Now we have many contracts. Some of them, in this case, it's written contract. There's other ones when people start arguing with each other, they're developing another type of contract, energetic contract. Hence why we have the word like karma, actions. There's many words with the word act in it. So now deviations or divinations kind of ideal is it's your intent. If you're trying to do it for the betterment of other people, like say people that do tarot cards, you're not doing deviation. You're being of service at that point. But when you're just doing it for your own personal gain, fame, attention, and all that, then you're doing that. So until people become aware of it, they'll say words like truth. Awareness is kind of like, and I've said it, observation. We always do it. Who's the one that's being hypnotized? It's not the words that are hypnotizing you. Who is it hypnotizing? This is why when people talk about mind control, who's the one that's mind's being controlled? Most people don't realize when they hear the word legion, who's the one that's being run? Anybody ever get when they drink alcohol and a spiritual drink? Who takes over? Who runs the body?
That is true. When you black out, who took over, right?
That's right. When you go to sleep, who takes over? So when people say and they hear words, I don't agree with Watkins, I said, you don't got a clue what's going on then. Why? Because you jump into these forms. That's why we have an entry point. Yeah, but I was in the body. I said, are you sure you're in the body? Or are you realizing, I have many receivers, so I must be coming from somewhere else? It's like playing a video game. It's the same ideal. It's giving you like the depictuation in this form. It's a video game. It's like a car. Where is the negative and positive energy? How does a car work without negative and positive leads, let alone the grounding part of the car? And even now, what is a car? Is it the word car? Plastic, steel? Where do they exist? But what most people get caught up is they go to court, commerce court, they're talking about anarchy and all that kind of stuff without rules. How does that look like with the masses having anarchy? Fuck, that would be fun. But that's only because most people don't realize they're being disobedient to a system that they've chosen to come to. Now, they can call this a soul trap. That's fine. But what's a soul now? Is it data? Is it the blood? Because now, if you look at the blood, it's memory. What is memory? Could it be data? We're using different language to describe this stuff. It's like when people talk about the Bible. What version are you going to use? Greek? Hebrew? Because if you go in Greek, they wrote one way. They go to Hebrew, they wrote a different way, and they didn't read it from left to right. They read it from right to left. It's a simple experiment for the people that can actually write with two different hands. You'll get different outputs.
If you read it from left to right, everything's being taken from you. If you read it from right to left, you get it all back. No, I'm joking.
Hey, there's some validity to that, because when people do things like singing bowls, and if you play it from playing it clockwise opposed to counterclockwise, it's different types of energy. So can you imagine if the sun decided to go in a different direction? And even when people read stuff, why do you read it in more or less in this part of the hemisphere, like a book from left to right, opposed to like a scroll, or from down to up? This is where people get so conditioned, and then they figure, I know the truth. I said, you just know a particular picture of the truth. Even me, I don't know what the truth is. And even if I say it, I know inside of me, I'm saying, Dom, you're just saying it for the effect. And then people give me meanings and definitions. I said, well, who gave you the concept of meanings? Many of us are trying to explain the outer of the box by being from within the box. That's a funny game. And the ones that do, let's say they've gone outside of the box, how would they explain it to the rest of us? Sorry, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I'm just agreeing. That was well put there at the end. So go ahead, Charles.
You said if the sun goes the opposite way. Peace, Misael and Mesa Melt. I seen this morning. I was on Instagram and I seen this text. I think I was Simple Truth TV anyway. And it showed October 14th, 2023, the eclipse went one way. And then April 8th, this year coming up, the eclipse is going to go. How the hell does an eclipse come from two different directions? I don't know. Since you said the sun, and it reminded me of this picture, because it don't make sense. They're only going one way. And I don't think most globies or people realize this. How is it coming from two different ways? What is this? The objects all of a sudden turn around and go the opposite way? I don't know. I had to pull this out. Not to get off track, but maybe somebody can answer why this is shown like this. Are the eclipses not the sun and moon? Is there something else going in the front? I don't know. All right, Christos. So, yeah, this is pretty interesting.
If I could say, Charles, you said a word, and if a person's observing their own words, it doesn't make any sense. This is beyond the senses. Think about where the senses are usually located, outside of touch, but even that's up there too. It's near the hemispheres, the upper brain. Some people can go inwards, and if they have actually learned their craft of inwards with their guts, they'll hear other people say it's nonsense. Yeah, it's no sense, no thing, no matter.
Wow, I never looked at it like that.
Because a lot of times we don't observe thoughts, and then we don't question it from within. Questioning others, it defeats the whole purpose of know thyself. It's not about knowing others. You can get it is nonsensical. So somebody can say, I'm looking at the sun, and they'll look at it over and over again. I said, look, but really look at it. And they'll say, yeah, I'm looking at it. I say, okay, so as I'm speaking in the background and I keep on saying the word sun, what are you doing? You're associating to that thing called evil or material. What do you mean, Dom? I said, you're not seeing the word sun when I'm saying it to you, let alone the thought that you receive. You've been always looking at something that's very linear, and it's I'm even using another word to describe it, material. So we don't see words when we speak. So when we say nonsense, what are the senses picking up? Can it pick up where words come from, or spoken in this case? This is why the process of written work is a more dumbed down thing, because it's actually conditioning or playing with the senses at that point. You know, everything's a program to a certain point. I'm going to use lingo that we use today, you know, and even that, if we could be speaking Greek or Sanskrit, that would be a different type of effects we would get when we give something that correlate with each other. It's like the word Maya opposed to the word illusion. You know, I don't learn all these other crafts, all these different languages, but I do learn different types of languages like numbers and colors. And even that, what are numbers? Numbers are what some people might call energy, sigils. Same with letters.
Peace, S.
Same with the word truth and love. It's an energy of some sort. You know, somebody might experience love. Love might be in the form of a child experiences a father or mother caring for another person's children. The child will have this overwhelming feeling like, oh, wow, and then maybe a tear will come out. They're experiencing what's called love. But when somebody says the word love, that's a different type of experience, let alone the verb, the action of it. But you'll be overwhelmed by something, overwhelmed or embodied. These are all just different words to say, okay, which one resonates with me? For somebody else, the word overwhelmed might not resonate with them. It's like some people aren't going to be into rap. Other people might be interested into Asian music or country music, you know. But for a lot of people, they get conditioned to like certain types of music, but they never go inwards and say, but that's not my suit. You know, but if a person wants to just be the observer, they can like any type of genre of music, let alone styles of written work. I'm guessing at that point. I apologize because I don't think everybody did.
Candy asked, who is the observer? The cameraman? The cameraman never dies. Ever notice that? Trying to read the chat, see if anyone. Mesa Mel says, what does these eclipses look like on a flat realm? Two overlapping circles. Yeah. But my problem is some eclipses I've seen, something was eclipsing the sun, and you could look to your right and see the moon clear as day. So is Rahu and Ketu real, or is there something up there that covers the sun? Are they fixing the sun? You know, is the sun even what we think it is? You know, it could be something in rotation that gives off light like a fucking floating light, a flashlight or something. I don't know. Peace, Joe King.
What's up, buddy? How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. I always think of the word joking when I say Joe King. Are you joking?
I knew it'd be like part of it. It's actually a name of a guy. I'm getting my chat set up, so I don't know if you can see me, but yeah. But it's a name of a. There you go. Yeah, it's the name of a dude that founded Kings Beach over by Lake Tahoe, which is it's a totally fake story. So I figured I'd take it. My name's Joe. My last name is actually Kirkendall, but yeah, that's where I got Joe King from. But I knew it would sound like that too. I was Joe K for years on there, just Joe K. But yeah, always a great conversation, man. You guys do killer, man. Dominic and you and Christos comes on. You three are always great, man. Really pleasant. Always killer conversations to listen to every time. So
yeah, Dominic keeps me thinking, like the word nonsense. Yeah. And then he said it comes from the gut, and I said, man, nonsensical. And then people say, why do you think that? Because it came from the gut, not the sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never looked at it in that perspective.
Yeah, you know what I mean? An impressive guy that's gonna make you think about stuff it's rare, dude. It's cool, you know. It's because you could feel it when you're going. You're like, okay, that's interesting, you know, because you walk around all day and just have these horrible conversations with people. But what do you call it? I was gonna Dominic seems to be good on like telepathy and stuff like that. So I was going to ask him maybe if he ever studied stuff about the druids.
Let me just say something real quick before I forget. Scott said, things are named for a reason. The last eclipse was called the Ring of Fire eclipse for a reason. Wait, last eclipse was called Ring of Fire for a reason. Corresponds to the ring of fire that circles the Pacific Ocean. Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it would mean because when you eclipse the sun, there's that ring of fire on the outer part. I always forget that there is the actual ring of fire that would go around the central part of our realm. Take it off the stupid ball.
Yeah.
There's
I
that
bet
ring.
like would line up at some point, and once
Where the equator is. But think about this real quick before you asked Dominic that. The ring of fire, I always thought to myself, the higher you go, right, the closer you would get to the sun. It's cold as hell up there. So what is really heating? I know that the sunlight is warm, but what's really heating the earth? You know, is the fire underneath the earth like an oven? That's where the equator is, where all that fucking shit is under the earth. So what heats the earth? Is it the sun, or is it? Because the farther you dig down, the warmer it gets, they say.
Right.
So
some kind of unknown heat from inside the earth for sure, under, you know. But like the sun is a focused beam of light. You know what I mean? That's why it goes past that. It's just focusing down like electricity. So that's why there's that whole path of the sun, like as it goes across the United States, is kind of like burned into the ground almost, like that path. So it's real focused. You know what I mean? It's like a beam, like it's like a laser almost. Like the heat's at the end of it. Like it's got to be the way, you know. I'd say I don't know, but it's a question.
Ow.
But underneath, well, it's kind of like light. Like light is like we're like a big fluorescent tube. Like light is kind of everywhere. It's not just the sun doesn't just light the place. It's like it helps it light everywhere. So it helps it heat the earth. It doesn't do the full heating. You know, it can't. It's too small, probably too small to heat the whole thing. You know, you're probably right. Yeah, it's weird.
What were you gonna ask, Dominic? I forgot. I was trying to remember
about like telepathy and well, actually, there's one.
Okay.
I wanted to ask everybody about a book that I cannot find online called, and the only thing it's called The Shankus Moor, and it's like a druid, but I don't know how to spell it. I can't find it, dude. I can't.
Shank is more.
Yeah, and I think maybe CHANKES or something like that.
Would it be SH? Would it be SHANK?
Maybe I've tried that too, man. And because I watched this documentary about
What's
the
name
last
of it? The Shank is more.
Shankus Moor.
Shankus more.
Yeah, and it's gonna have to do with St. Patrick, a guy named Luger McLuger. Luger McLuger is probably the main star of it and the main guy of it. But it's like Druid history that was written down, and the guy mentioned it on this documentary called The Last Druid, and the guy died in like 1986. There was like a bloodline of the priest king druids and stuff, the last guy. And he mentioned that book and he said everything's in it. And like, dude, I'm not some great researcher though. So I don't know, you know, like putting it out there to people that are better at researching maybe. But that dude was saying so that the difference, what happened is that the druids were telepaths. That's what the difference was. They had telepathy, and but not all of them. Only the real, like the priest king ones, and that was like the difference of people. And those are the people that were wiped out and stuff. And that dude was a trick. He was saying like Stonehenge and all that was for shelters for meteors. There were meteor shelters. When meteors would fall, that's where everybody'd go under. All the structures like Stonehenge, they're shelters. They're like bomb shelters. That's what this dude was saying. It was a trip, man. It's just everywhere I'm turning lately, it goes back to Druid. Everything's like, and then the way it sounds like Drew, like the other word, Drew, like, I don't know. I like this owl though. He's been staring at me, shaking his head. My wife was a little thrown off by your logo in the corner up there. She's like, wait, is he it?
Yeah, my bad. Shank is more. What did you say it was related to? Saint who?
So like druids. So like keywords would be druids, St. Patrick, I think. And then this guy named Luger McLuger. So I don't know how to spell it. Like Lugor McLuger. Yeah, you got to watch this thing, dude. I should put it. I should find it and put it in there. But yeah, it's a documentary. I go down these rabbit holes, man, and I'm just like, what's up with this, man? People turn up, and then when they're kind of like victims also in history, and then also they're tied to human sacrifice.
Yeah, I looked it up.
You found it?
In Edge, it says the true story of St. Patrick, Celtic Druid Temple. Let's see, St. Patrick and the Druids. And I put Shankus Moore, and it came out SHANKUS MOORE.
Okay.
But I don't know if that is the true Shankus Moore.
No book though.
I'm looking right. Oh wait. There's this book, St. Patrick, the Druids, and the End of the World. I'm gonna download that.
And isn't that the big like Protestant Catholic thing about if St. Patrick was there and did all that? Like, isn't that a big thing in history?
St. Patrick's a clown.
Mm.
No, I had someone give me a St. Patrick little medallion thing to wear. And the old lady was like, "This will protect you," something like that. And
it's a big deal, man. Like, did he go? And so the idea is that he came there to Ireland in like 600 or something, I think it was, and he's brought Christianity there, and took one Druid guy named Luger McLuger and had him, write down everything and make it, so his people could understand about Jesus and stuff like that. That's like the idea, but they seem to be taking out the word Druid a lot. That's what the dude, every time I've heard it before talked about by old kind of people arguing endlessly about religion, I've never really heard that part of
it. Shankus Moore. Was he the author? Or that was his...
No, you know what? I don't know, because the dude said it was just the name of the book. I could find the scene of the dude saying it.
Let's see.
And this dude said he was the last of the bloodline of like that Luger McLuger guy. He lived in Ireland and just like grew all his own food, made his cheese, just lived. It shows him in his yard, dude, and birds are landing in his hand and stuff, and they eating out of his hand and stuff, dude. I was like, whoa, this dude's a trip.
Let's see. Have you seen the book?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I went to I've been looking for it for days since I watched this one documentary. I'll drop the link. I'll see if I could open up if I could open up YouTube. Yeah, and I just, there's like no trail to it as far as just simple like searches, but I don't know any other better way to look for stuff. Like there's probably some other website maybe that you get to, and that'll get to it or something, or maybe you got to pay for it or something. But I literally, it's one of those things that just seems to be totally scrubbed, just like their whole operation seems to be, you know, because they're talking that human sacrifice was supposedly part of their thing, and that's like once you tie that, just like with the Aztecs and stuff, and the Mayans, it's like, oh, sacrifice, and that's once you hear that, that's all you can think about is, oh, they used to kill other people. So it's kind of seems like a psyop when you hear that. Like I feel like that's a psyop attached to a lot of stuff is human sacrifice because it's just so hardcore, man. I couldn't imagine it. Let me see.
So how do we not know that what's being sacrificed on the earth is not feeding what's below, let alone what's above?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know when we move around on the earth's plane, we do affect the skies. Hence why some people are aware how clouds are, how clouds come to be. We don't realize how much we play a role being on the surface.
Truly is one system, all connected.
Mm-hmm. That's why we use the terms as above, so below. But so what is above and what is below? Not the earth, but what is below. And Charles was tapping on it a bit. Why is it colder up there? Because people have to remember words that we use here, magnetic.
Mm.
You know, there could be something something below, it's a strong magnet, something above. And then maybe the sun just plays a role in all of that. You know, I still go with the idea of the moon is something that was planted in after, and it's just a satellite of some sort. This is where humans say, where do we get all these pictures of all the landmass and all that? Nobody's ever been high enough. I said, well, the moon's been there the whole time. You know, and some people have speculated those are projections from other planes. Hence why when people say nothing new under the sun, because there could be things beyond the sun's reach. You know, because those are flashlights up there. I keep telling people those are flashlights.
Right? Focus beams of some sort of electricity, energy.
Mm-hmm. Where do the clouds come from? Where do they go? You can have a cloud, there's nothing there in the sky, and all of a sudden, bang, you have a cloud. So I might assume those are portals. You know, there's a Bermuda Triangle, another portal. Those are all possibilities. And if a person wants to use their imagination or perception and then go inwards, maybe. But if they're going to wait for some next generation of people, we're going to write it down. Holy fuck! I gotta take all the information through my hemispheres. It's going to take a long time, like a long fucking time.
Because you're putting logic in, you're installing logic in this conversation. That's with the supernatural type of thought process.
Are you sure it isn't Professor Shanku?
Oh, I don't know. So in the private chat, I put the link to the documentary with that dude you could look at, and that's where he's the guy.
All I got is Shankus and Kiddo.
It's weird.
That's it. Yeah.
There's a lot of things there's certain things that are hard to find, man. Like ancient people, like Kevser people up in the Caucasus Mountains. You know, Ainu people in Japan. Those are things that are like John Shank Moore. Let's see who this guy is. I found someone named John Shank Moore. I think old people, man.
They spell Shank SCHANKMORE, Shank Moore.
All the old information is just like the old buildings, man. It's all disappearing, man. It's crazy.
The grave of John Shank Moore at St. John's. Wrong saint. I don't know. I tried to help.
Yeah, see? They're crazy, dude.
I came up with nada.
Right.
Oh, hold up. Oh, no, that's Shanku again. Professor Shanku.
I've been trying. It's crazy.
He's got a book here, Professor Shanku, and in the cover, it's got an alien spaceship. And he's got one eye symbolism in it. I'm gonna download the cover.
Don't you know?
I need to do a rain dance, but a different type of rain dance, a money rain dance. Peace to B. Freeman.
I got some days off from work. Me and the other guy. There's only one guy older than me, and like some stuff happened at work where they got to get parts or do something. I forget. You know, the plans ain't right or something. So they're like, "You guys want?" You know, they asked the two old guys, "You want some days off?" All the younger or I have
paid days off or
nope, not like commercial stuff.
So you
I'm old. My old
get
man.
paid by the job, or
Paid
get
by
paid hourly.
Hourly. It's hourly, but it's like commercial stuff. So they pay you. It's like government jobs, a lot of them. So they kind of pay you. They pay you pretty good. So the time off is your no holiday pay, nothing like that. And they put it in like a package for your retirement and stuff like that. So you know, it ain't that bad. You know, it's all right. You can deal with it. Take days off. The young guys, they got young kids and stuff, and let them work. You know, like.
Man, my best job was when I worked for that bus company, man. Guaranteed 40 hours a week. I always got like 44, time and a half, paid vacation. Like usually your sick days and paid vacation is the same. But this place gave you a week paid vacation and a week of sick time. They were separate. They weren't one. And so that's like 2 weeks paid vacation. And then paid holidays, which is dope. And it was a good job, man. Full benefits. And when I hurt my back, they had it out for Chuck, man. They were the lady fell. She's the one who fucked it up for everybody. I hurt my back. But I had no plan on suing them.
Right.
But that lady got hurt and sued them, and they couldn't fire her because, you know, you can't fire someone that sued you. So they hated that lady.
Oh, yeah.
And they probably thought I was going to sue them, but they had it out for me.
Yeah. That's how my wife's
right.
Government job, the good retirement jobs and stuff, the good benefit, you know, benefits and stuff. So we always had medical, like through my wife's job.
How does that work? Like if you have, I forgot the the something 2K, I forgot what it's called, man. With the job, that's for the rest of your life, right? They send you a check for the rest of your life.
Well, yeah, they have like a 401k is all different. Like I got like 2 of them from different companies. Like
and they send you money for the rest of your life.
Well, what it is there's like there's IRAs, and so there's simple IRAs, and so those are the ones that you can't touch until you're like 65 or 63, and so you pay into those. Like sometimes you'll have an employer that'll match you like 3%. So they'll be putting that, you put 3% and they'll put 3% into that, you know, and you don't even hardly feel it on your check. It's like nothing. You know, it's so worth it. Like people blow it. Construction guys blow it all the time about not setting it up and getting it going, because it just grows like a little tree, man. When you're gonna be working all them hours anyhow, so you might as well be putting that extra, you know, in that.
I got a check one time, Joe, from I had been out of that job for a while. And this landlord lady I know handed me a check. She's like, I called her out of the blue one time, and she's like, "You got a check here?" And I'm thinking, were these people sending me checks all the time, and they probably kept them and shit? Who knows what happened? But I wonder if the 401k is the rest of your life. They'll send you money.
Yeah.
I matched whatever they had. We got to find out. Probably people are keeping my checks and spending that shit.
Yeah, and that shit, that doesn't go away. Like you find out if it's Fidelity or Edward Jones or you know, they're all the ones that have them. That have all the, you know, you never know which ones. You know, because a lot of them won't tell you or whatever. But yeah, I'm supposed to meet. You know, and it's like, it's all right. I mean, it's good if you're working, man, because you know, to do it, because you're just going to be there anyway, you know. It's like, but there's different ones that you can get, like if you want to save up for a car or a house, do it don't do it in IRA, you do it in a different one. But you can go to one of those places and they'll do it. But I think credit unions might be a good way to go. But I never had one. But it seems like a local credit union, you get a savings started with someone you could deal with, like in person.
Huh.
Seems to me, but I never been with one.
Does anyone watch Candy's videos? She's been dropping some video content. I'm glad you started doing that. Yeah. Candy,
No,
I try to catch the videos.
I get
Hey, guys,
no good.
I got a quick question. Sorry, Joe. If me and you, Joe and Charles, met somebody, a friend, and they were in a cult, how would we explain to them that they're in a cult?
A cult or a cult?
C. No,
Okay.
a cult. Cult with a C.
All right. A cult. Okay.
Yeah, cult.
Well, politics, religion, those are all cults. A cult is somebody, like the system's a cult. A cult is a set, I don't know what to call it, paradigm or script, something that's set, and it's like, how could I put it? A cult is like, you don't think for yourself, man. It's a set programming they give you, and it's like a you know what I'm trying to say, like religion.
No. You're going with it.
They're right, and what you say is wrong.
They can't see it. They can't see it. Now, what would be fueling their cult? Would they be surrounding with some sort of like, I do this, I do that, and you don't understand me and all that? Like, because we're trying to explain them where they're at, but they don't realize they're in it. Okay. So as we're talking about 401ks, retirement, because when everybody say retirement, I think are retarded. And they talk about their jobs when there's other people printing money for us and all that kind of stuff. We're in the cult, and we reinforce it about talking about it, not to put any dampener on that, because this is where people are living in the illusion. Well, I have this job. I became a surgeon. And I work for the government. No offense, Joe, because I can say that about anybody. I do electrical work and all that. Those are all our masks. We're in the cult. But then what we do is, but those other people, they're in a religious cult. That's just another version of it. Hence, divide and conquer. It's when we start questioning inwards. Why do I go to work? Well, I need food. Have you ever questioned, do you need food? Have you fasted long enough? Well, no. So how do you know for sure you really need food?
It's a struggle. That's an absolute struggle.
It would be for the people that challenges it. But for most people, they'll actually do this perpetual defense and attack. Well, Tom, you don't understand. It's not for me to understand. That's your role. That's why the word says understand. But you no, you're talking about me. I'm talking about ideals. This is where people, they start attacking other people because they can't even entertain the ideal. I'm talking about fiat currency. I'm talking about, so who's running the show? What foods do I need to eat? Because if a person says, Dominic, I need to eat food. Okay, now the question would be, let's entertain. What type of food do you need to eat? Because then you'll get people that'll debate, well, I'm a vegetarian. Okay, what type of vegetables do you eat? Oh, I'm a meat eater. What type of meat do you eat? People don't even question things. Because I know, Joe, you follow Ben Owen or whatever. There's a funny boy. But anyway, they're all funny boys. They're not realized how.
Well, not for years. I'm listening to Owen, but like,
no, I'm just giving that as an example because I'm telling you my recorded information. We can record almost anything. I don't use it as a weapon on somebody. I just use it like, okay, so Owen, who created you? Come on, give me an answer.
I can tell you my relationship with fiat currency and my struggles with it, and how much I dislike it for sure. It was years ago. It was about 5 years ago when I got this information about life, about lies, and about how many things I was wrong about in life, and I never did like money. And at that point, when I realized that I was just a slave, that first year I quit drinking and I got fired from my job, and I had 9 jobs that year because I just didn't want to hear it from anybody. I just wanted to, go out into the forest and live or something like that. I couldn't, you know, it was like I couldn't exist, you know, with this slavery, man. I all of a sudden it realized me, you know, I realized that it was happening. I was doing it for 45 years and I was just a fool, you know. But then, you know, you calm down and you go, okay, well, what am I going to do now? You know, people say, oh, you got to go get away from it. You know, things have been manipulated and things are wrong. When they say you got to separate yourself from the system, that's mental. You know, you don't separate yourself from other humans and go hide and do whatever. You know, you're not going to get away from the system. But the second that I realized, okay, I got to get back in and actually go the opposite way and make as much money as I can. Okay, I'm going to be doing it anyway. So I'm going to be the top paid slave in the business. So, you know, and I ever since then, I haven't had one run-in with a cop. I haven't dealt with the government. We're buying a house right now. I'm just like, you know, and I don't deal with anything. I'm not affected by the Mandela effect. I ain't affected. Joe Biden doesn't scare me. You know, no, I don't know, man. I had to get back into the system and mentally kind of separate from it because, you know, what else am I going to do? You know, it's like, and I have a family. I live with 5 adults and my grandbaby and a dog, and you know, and people need me, man. You know, every man's got to ask himself, who needs you, man? And in my case, lots of people. So, you know, but you're right though, Dominic. Absolutely, 1,000% right. It's awful.
No, I never once said awful. See, this is the thing, Joe. You made it personal, which is fine, and I respect the fact that you're sharing your story. But even when we start saying things like "I don't like it," that's another part of the game. It's about observing it for what it is, and in each moment there's a discernment, not a judgment. I will discern today. I will participate in the game. Tomorrow or in the next moment, I will discern otherwise or something else. But people would judge it, well, I like money or I don't like money, can't see the program of likes and dislikes. Money is not bad by itself. And if a person understood the word evil, money is the root of all evil, then money is the root of all material. Yeah, you got to make that piece of paper. It's made out of material. But how do you convince the thing that's not material to chase it? Let alone to obtain it, maintain it. It's a beautiful craft to learn. Oh yeah, Dominic, I go to work and I earn money. I said, okay, that's fine. Because if you said make money, I'm thinking, so you have a printing machine downstairs? Because we're playing with words. So when people say, what, make opposed to earn? You make money opposed to earn money, 2 different things.
Right, right.
You know, so when I go to work, I'm earning something, but I'm expending something in exchange for it, energy. So, and this is where this is not about, okay, well, Dominic, I got to go to work, this and that. I say, okay, well, let's look at energy. Would it be better served to go to work for somebody else, where your kids and your wife somewhere else, or would it serve you better if you had a farm and all that? I'm just saying serve. I'm not saying if it's likes or dislikes. You know, this is where people forget for themselves. When it comes to one's own existence, that should be important. When it becomes to others, you should be the back of the bus observing it. How can I serve my kids? Am I being the example? Because a piece of paper, it is all it is, a piece of paper. We can even say we can exchange it with gold. So how's that gold going to serve me? Because me and Joe are going to go to the grocery store. How do we exchange it with that? Well, I can't take your gold because we don't have anybody that take it. But hey, Joe, how about you do some plumbing, Dom? You do some electrical work. Oh, so we can barter with you. Isn't that what you've always been doing? You know, but this is where it is. And this is where people get angry. Or they get upset or they become delusional. I said, it's a system that's here. If the person thinks that the Satan is such a bad character, then they better understand their attachments, because it's giving you whatever you want. Those cars, I give it to you. That Wi-Fi, I'll give it to you. You see what you call your kids? I gave that to you. What do you mean? You didn't create those children. You're not the one that's teaching them how to breathe. Get fucking behind me, you know, hence Satan, get behind me kind of idea. Why was a character like Jesus able to even have the ability to be a witness of Satan? Because it had to fast for 40 days. Oh, you're a worthy opponent. Well done, little boy, Jesus. Come here. Come on, Buddha. Come on, Buddha. How many times did you have to reincarnate or rebirth yourself? Because you were attached to the idea of trying to break the rebirth process. They're not anybody ever get that challenges among themselves, but they'll be entertained with the music that this realm gives us. We do have rulers here.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, most people forget they're disobedient. Now, the person that chooses to go to work and say, I'm a happy-go-lucky camper. I go to work. I might not like my job, but I like socializing with my buddies. I like to drive. I like the fact that I could be of service to somebody because I don't create. I'm just using me and Joe. I don't create the plumbing devices. I don't create the electrical devices. I don't even create the people that I work for. And this is where people, humans, in this case, beings in the human form, they forget their place.
Right.
And then what we do is we ramble. I'm doing it right now. I fucking get drained this way.
We're not even allowed to understand what water is or electricity or anything, and we install it. We don't even know what it is.
I don't even know what air is. I'll say the word, but I'll see it's a fast.
But again, to be personal about it, though, it's like guys like me, we can't go back in time, bro, and raise our kids again. We raised them all crappy, dude, and like, you know what I mean?
Sure, Joe. I'm with you, Joe. I'm with you. I'm making humor of the situation, by the way.
It hurts, Yeah.
Because anything I said, and it might imply to people on the panel, I could say that about myself. I just don't have any children, even though I'm still a child. But I get it. I get the responsibility of being a father or a mother. But last time I remember, most of us, unless you're living off, it's not even living off the grid, you're living with nature. We're becoming more dependent than interdependent with each other by going to somebody's grocery store. When my buddies say to me, Dominic, I'm independent, I said, you're full of fucking shit. What do you mean? You're just not aware of it. Why? You go to somebody's grocery stores, don't you? That jacket that you're wearing, did you make it? Are you a seamstress of some sort? Well, not really. And then, of course, they start backtracking. But, and then they make it about me. I said, you fucking self-absorbed twit. You're making it about me because you can't understand you? Come on. That's a waste of energy, both on me and on you. But this is just me yapping, being the idiot.
People do not like to look in the mirror, man. I'm telling you right now.
Because you know why? Because then they'll say, well, I'm a narcissist. And I said, no. People that go to the gym is the narcissist. They want to try to perfect that body, which could be a beautiful craft. But if they think they want somebody else to give them the knee, I said, then join Muslims or something. Be a Buddha. Point towards east, go eastwards. There you go. Go towards a cube. Why did they talk about the cube? Because it's angles, angels. Oh, but angels are here to be here to care for you. How do you not know they're not here to keep you anchored here? And it's the ones that are rebelling with our demons that are trying to get you out of here.
Yeah, 4 corners and 4 angels. Yeah,
well
done. See that. Yeah,
thanks, Joe.
Fascinating.
And I go back onto the topic. What is truth then?
Right.
When people say, well, the word live backwards means something else. I say, yeah, because the language has been read different directions.
God, I was just looking at a Mandela effect that I had, major one right now that I'm not really into it. It kind of bores me, the topic, but am I evil with the Elvis song? He goes, I was born standing up and talking back, and my father was a green-eyed crackerjack. That was the line, and it was changed to green-eyed mountain jack.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. That even the concept of a Mandela effect in its originality.
Right.
If people are going to do research and say, okay, let's say somebody was reported dead and now he's alive, shouldn't there be back checks such as insurance, death certificate? Now, when people start talking about, well, cartoons, they've changed all that. I said, we're talking about cartoons, right?
Right.
They can change whatever they want. Now, the question is, why would they want to change it? Opposed to saying, hey, I just saw a bright light. But I don't see it anymore. Come on, guys. They're fucking dumbing you down even more now by spending way too much fucking energy on something like, well, they changed the cracker box now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to talk about deja vu next too? They changed words.
No S or whatever.
And for them, it's another entertainment. Yeah, we'll throw them flat earth and globe. Right. But what happened if they start questioning the ideal? Isn't the flat earth just meaning dry land? Yes, it is. Oh, so then why are we talking about flat earth or globe? I said, because we gave them the glass half full, half empty kind of ideal.
Right. Totally, man.
That's where we have discernment.
Well, and that's the thing about the Mandela is a 50-50 shot. If someone says, well, I remember this and I remember this, some small little difference, that's just human nature, first of all. that happens all the time, you know, and everything that is fed to you is totally manipulated by whoever gave it to you. You know, I don't care if it's old movies, new movies, Kit Kat bars, you know, that stuff has been fed to you. You know, every politician, every candy, all of it. It's fake. It's all fake.
It could be. Well, our own community families do it. Hey, son, this is what I'm going to teach you.
Yeah.
There's a certain type of holiday. A guy with a red suit with reindeers
lands
on our roof, and then he goes down the chimney. You know, the same guy that I brought you to the mall and I forced you to sit on his lap. Yeah,
Sounds like he's a chomo, right?
But hey, that's kind of creepy when a child is aware. So okay. But now, Dad, you're trying to tell me the elites are manipulating me? Didn't you kind of manipulate me, Dad, already? Yeah, I did, son. I'm sorry. Really, you're sorry. So I might assume the elites are eventually going to say, guys, I'm really sorry. Yeah, we've been manipulating the human race. Okay, but are you going to burn all the shit you fucking reaped from all of that?
I know.
If not, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear about people talking about, well, I don't sell drugs anymore. I said, but did you not manipulate a whole bunch of other people's kids? Well, yeah, but I've changed my ways. I said, are you going to burn that fucking Ferrari you have in your driveway? Well, no. Yeah. And shut the fuck up about thinking you made amends.
Yeah.
Getting with the rest of us. Unless you want to talk about ideals, that's fine. But if it talks about what you've done, hypocrisy, we can find that in anybody.
Oh, I know. I know a dude, his brother OD'd. He's a drug dealer. His brother OD'd. And like he doesn't see the correlation. I'm like, dude.
I'm trying to hear that from him. Try to hear that from Joe. But hey, again, I play with the idea of what happened if we keep coming back over and over again.
Yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of things on the table. You know, it's crazy.
Now, if we didn't, it would make sense. Yeah, I don't give a shit if they're doing digital currency and all that kind of stuff. But let's say they do, then we reap what we sow, whether we do it out of ignorance or out of awareness. But it would be nice. Excuse me. It would be. Maybe I'm overshooting on my part as I use the word nice. If people were at least aware, so at least they know what they're getting themselves into. Now, some people will say, yeah, but if I know, should I do something about it? In awareness, you might realize there's a whole bunch of people that have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And they pay us to do their work. Like, honestly, Joe, would me and you do plumbing for if somebody offered us and he's a billionaire to do plumbing and electrical work for them, and we find out that he's a mean guy, we probably still would work for him.
Yeah. Yep.
If people are going to be honest, especially when they realize all the other programs go, but I got to feed my family. I like my cars. You know, I like my women. I like my children, you know. So it's interesting when people turn around and say, yeah, but he's such a mean guy. So you put enough zeros behind that one, you'll see how quickly who you are or aren't.
It's crazy.
You know? And the ones that
a Thermo Fisher plant, a drug plant years ago before I was, you know, and I wonder if I was in there today plumbing in these giant stainless steel onion-shaped vats, like 30 of them in this whole, like I did the whole thing myself, man. Just giant copper pipe, you know, and that's just cooking drugs, man. Like I did that. It was weird, man. It's really weird.
But we do it. You know.
Yeah, you know, do you have a choice at this point? I'm like, that's my whole thing. I'm like, I don't know. What do I can't run away.
Well, our choices are usually limited by our awareness. So for example, you know, somebody works at a car plant and they find out during them working there that most of their parts are made by child labor. What do you think most of them are going to do? So now somebody finds out after they've worked at a car factory, car manufacturer, and they find out, oh, you mean all the parts when I was working there were from my child labor? Yeah, but I don't work there anymore. Yeah, but if you did, or in this case you didn't, you don't anymore, would you give up everything you reaped from it?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't. If people were honest with the self, forget about the truth. If they were honest with the self, hence know thyself, their programs, they'd realize, you know, Dom, sounds nice. Oh, it's always convenience when you get some material gains from it. It sounds nice. So outside of that, most of us are full of shit.
They'll sit around and say how terrible it is, you know, and talk about it, and then just go home and watch Fox News, and that's it. You know, it's just like, you know, just be scared and oh my god, you know, it's just that's it, man.
I've had these conversations with my buddies, and of course they'll turn really quickly out of their defense. What about you, Dom? I said, how interesting a self-absorbed person makes it about me now. How interesting. I already know him. I'm a hypocrite. I already know I'm full of fucking shit. So I'm just talking out loud. I'm just talking out loud because this is recorded, and maybe some young generation said, listen, Dom, you just told me something what I don't do anymore. So then I've served. You know, it's like when a parent says, listen, son, I've been an alcoholic and a drug addict all my life. What do you think you've learned something? Well, Dom, Dad, whoever, you taught me what not to do, then I've taught you something.
Yep.
Now, if I taught them something that they think is very productive and constructive, I said, then maintain it.
Yep.
You know, and this is where people forget, and that's where we get short-sighted. Now, I'm not talking about the race as a whole, because I've never met the billions of people in this world, but you only have to have a certain observation of certain types of people, because you see yourself as a mirror and say, yeah, we're full of crap. I just wish it would be nice to hear other people say once in a while, yeah, I'm full of crap, Tom.
You know, it's just like I said, I could look at all the things I was wrong about. You know, don't forget that stuff. You know, it's like, man. So now I give someone a piece of information. I say, well, now you know this. I'm not trying to be all like I know all this shit or something, dude. But now here's something that you're really into, and now you know kind of the real face of this thing that you're into. You know, here's this information for you. You know what I mean? I'm just like, God, I'm not trying to be holier than thou or whatever, but I really, really care about people, man. You know, it's like the empathy for people, man. Like,
unless you're a shirt and there's a lot of holes in it, then you can say you're holier than thou. Look at all the holes in that guy. He's full of crap. Look at that. That downpipe has many holes in it. What's it for? It's a sprinkler. It's a sprinkler.
Got tons of problems, but I recognize them.
I'm just teasing because a lot of my buddies are plumbers too, actually. So
are they? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I had a buddy of mine, if I could tell a story. He's into finishing cement. And one day, I guess he was saying, well, the Asians don't know how to do cement work and all that. And I had to tell my buddy, I said, okay, let me understand this. You're trying to tell me that the Asian nation doesn't know how to work with cement. Well, how did they build all their cities then? I said, you might have met a couple of people that just happen to look Asians that you might not think aren't as qualified in what they're doing. But to assume a whole nation doesn't know how to do cement, and meanwhile, I know, unless they're lying to us about there's a place called China, let alone Korea and all that.
Oh, I know.
And of course, he quickly looked at me, and as soon as I put in those words, he goes, yeah, Dom, I guess I was being an idiot. I said, there's your repent right there. You've changed your way, because somebody presented it in a different way and you got caught up in the moment of, you know, and that's usually how the program works, the ego. It's narrow in its perception. You know, I appreciate when people share with me. I said, geez, I didn't see it that way. I can't even say Jesus, but I didn't. Well, actually, in a way it is, because if Jesus was a witness, I'm able to witness whatever that person's saying. I'm like, yeah, he's giving me a different view. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, sometimes you get caught, especially in the trades, because you'll be like, okay, just this crew, and you'll see them for a few years, and you don't realize the next city over, it's a different like race doing it, or you know, the best workers or these guys or something like that. It's just so, and I've seen so many different, you know, crews and guys, and just, it's like, it's very interesting, you know, like talented people are everywhere, and they look, you know, all different shapes and sizes and colors, man. It's like, you know, and bums too, you know.
We're all bums, but
sorry about that.
Yeah.
I had to answer a call.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then when you see even the women that are in the trades, like literally in the trade, I say, well done.
Sure.
You know, because it shouldn't be limited to one or another. Now I get it. People say, well, what about children? I said, how do you think it was back in the farming day when the parents would say, listen, where's kids would say, where's my dad? He's down at the end of the farm. Go there, do the apprentice program. You know, really, I've had the opportunity to really truly be an apprentice, where I had 5 electricians above me, and I can ask all kinds of questions. And then, because that's part of being the apprentice, to ask questions, to reinforce the tradesperson, their skills. And every so often I get to practice it by doing it, the practical part of it.
Yeah. It's a lot of guys don't get the real good journeyman, you know. That's good.
You know, it'd be no different if we were surgeons, you know, doctors. That's where the system, I can't say it's failed, it's just changed. And in its change, we should be able to test it. Is it stronger? Has it declined a little bit? You know, like especially now with a lot of things with data involved in it. I'm pretty sure even with a lot of plumbing stuff, there might be some sort of things attached to it where you have electronics that you have to turn on and on valves.
Yeah, lots of stuff, lots of engineers getting involved. refining stuff, making it difficult sometimes. And so,
Yeah, it is.
technology, I've been in the trades, has changed so much, man.
How you like my my spinning logo there, Joe?
Yeah, that's what my wife was like looking, going, wait a minute, what's up with Charles? I think she got the wrong idea, dude. She goes, it looks like it almost looks like a Freemason channel, bro.
It's all right. I'm trolling. All the people that say I'm a Mason and I'm in a cult and they get people probably, you know, I've seen people I never met in my life. I don't even know who they are. A couple of people have made videos calling me a Archon, and I troll and say, yeah, I am an Archon. My arc is always on. So, so fuck. I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't.
And I like your avatar too. What's that little crest?
I got that from that map from the 1500s. I forgot his name. I always forget his freaking name. He has one of the best flat Earth maps I've seen. It was Mercator, and the other guy was Sutton Mundi. Not Mundi. I'll find his name. Now it's gonna drive me nuts if I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to get my I got my avatar. It's I found a star fort, an old map with a K on it, and that was my on the other one, Stream East. The other one, it's on there, but I can't get it to download. I love star forts.
I'll find his name right now. Here it is. Bloop. It was the first map. Urbano Monti.
Oh, gotcha.
That's his name. 1587. Urbano Monti. The best map I've ever seen of this realm. And that was one of the logos on the map. And I said, man, that's a nice, I like it.
That's
so I
safe,
said,
yeah.
That's my white self peeking around the emblem.
Charles with wings. Sick, bro.
And then I figured out the backdrop picture, I could put a video. So I found this owl. And I was going to use this in the video, is like to put it in between instead of always using the static. Every time I switch video to video, I put the static. It goes like you're changing the channel, old school.
Nice.
So,
dude.
And then I started that. I don't care what no one says on YouTube. I was the first channel to ever use that. And then you see bigger channels starting to use it. And I'm like, you know, maybe, yeah, they did think of it, but most likely they seen me doing it. And they said, oh, this channel's small. Nobody will even know I stole it from them.
Yeah.
That idea.
Never underestimate your influence, especially on the internet, man. Like, I know there's stuff I made happen. Like, people would be like, no way. I swear.
Yeah, they watch little channels, a lot of the bigger ones, and they figure, well, you know, this guy ain't doing nothing with it, so I'll take it and use it and claim it.
Like those underground hip hop bands saying, man, Drake was at my show and Lil Wayne was at my show and this and that years ago. I seen him. I've heard stories about that.
Huh. Yeah, they were there listening to you guys to steal ideas.
Yes, sir. I've heard that story many times. All right, buddy.
Peace, native Michigan.
I'm gonna get out of here, run a couple errands, man, and check back on.
Yeah.
If you
might as well end the live too.
I'll see if anybody's on, hanging out or whatever. Dominic.
Yeah, I'll probably go live again around 4.
Cool. Dominic can expand our brain some more.
Yeah, Dominic's definitely. I like when Dominic comes up and shares because he's so. I don't have a word, but.
You can download the mind more, guys. So again, you guys are talking about things earlier where Christians will actually look at Muslims and not understand them and out of ignorance say, well, they're bad. It's the same with Skull and Bones, Masonry, Rosicrucian. We're from a position where somebody feeds you that it's bad. That's probably them doing that. So that's why it becomes a secret to you. Once you start studying what some people that are genuinely able to explain what Rosicrucian is, Masonry, I realize, fuck, I've been spending a lot of time thinking it's bad or I don't like it out of ignorance.
Mhm.
You know, once people start understanding teachings of Buddhism, teachings of Bodhikita, because for teachings, you have to have discernment. But when it comes to this, like names like, hey, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Socrates, Kant, those are just fucking words. And in those words, people will form a belief, but they're not start questioning those things. Okay, why do I only stay at the ideal that I'm a Christian? I'm a Muslim. What the fuck are you talking about? Where's the teachings and all of that? You know, it's like me and Joe, and even you, Charles. If we're doing something and Charles looking, well, you're talking about plumbing. Can I at least see it? Why? Because I can apply teachings to it. Talking about plumbing and doing it are two different things. So in this case, written works are kind of doing. You could apply it once you read it. So again, we see a symbol. What is that symbol really saying? What does the letter G really mean? But when a person says, I don't like it or this, or they like it or don't like it, they're revealing about themselves. They're very limited in their perceptions. You know, I don't like broccoli. Have you ever fucking tried broccoli before? No.
Right.
So get that fucking face and be a real boy. Come on.
It's like duality. You got good and bad. It's the same thing, kind of stretched apart, you know, and right in the middle is where the, you know, it's kind of like, what is good? What is bad, you know?
No, it's like when people use the word good and evil. It's spiritual material. And how many things are spiritual and how many things are evil? Is a car, the substance of a car, material? Yes. So that's evil. That's all it means. It just means material. I look up in the sky and I see the sun and the moon. I don't know if that's material.
Right. It's like Scarface said, what's that make you? Good?
What does that make you? That's right. I don't know.
So they're not a bad guy. Never say bad guy like me no more.
Thanks, guys. Sorry for and thanks for allowing me to rant like a fool.
He looks at the lady. He goes, "What's this? Yeah, I'm a bad guy. What's that make you? Good." It's true though. Some swindling banker he's looking at, going, "What are you? Good?" All right, guys. Well, we'll get rolling. Charles, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you, Dominic. Everybody.
Anytime.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man.
I appreciate Dominic and you, Joe, coming up.
Cool, buddy. I will check
good
in.
Build. Yep. All right. Have a good day.
Hey, guys.
Trying to find that yin yang. I have one of the sun and moon instead of the white and black. And it spins. And then I had another one with the flat earth map and the sun and moon that spins. I'm going to use them for logos. Now that I know I could put videos in the backdrop, I have some ideas now. I'll create my own. I think that's pretty cool. Because I don't think I could use videos for the front picture. Let me try.
Even that too, Charles, people that, you know, if they choose, they want to learn that kind of stuff like theosophy, you know, opposed to this. So I know Alice Bailey or Helen Blavatsky, you know, to, you know, really learn that kind of stuff. And of course, it comes down to one's intent. Why do they want to learn that kind of stuff? You know, it's somebody that wants to do plumbing or electrical. They might be just dabbers. They might not want to learn it so they can become a tradesperson.
No. Go ahead, Dominic. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This thing was uploading and then it disappeared.
Mm-hmm. It's like I've kind of said this maybe about a couple of months ago, and I know I got a little bit of a pushback, but I found it was humorous. Where to pose the ideal of the elites, people will get that information, but if they've already gone into the room with the conversation with their likes and dislikes, they're going to categorize. Well, then the elites are doing things that are wrong. Do you understand what they have to do? Did you understand the whole system? Well, no. I said, so how can you quickly judge something as one or the other? You know, I purposely brought in a different spin so people can say, okay, how are you going to balance that now? Like, do we really understand everything that's involved? Now, some people say, oh, well, Dominic, I don't like the outcome. I said, well, that's just you now. I don't like the fact that I'm not rich, but that doesn't make it like everybody else is wrong then. It's like people having preconceived notions that all rich people are sociopaths or psychopaths. No, there's people among them that are very kind and generous, and they appreciate the people that work for them. No different. There's a lot of people that are poor and they despise people. You know, get them in different flavors. Hey, Mitch.
What's up, Michigander? Hey, was that a live stream you sent me the other day?
Hello. Yeah, it was mine.
Ah, I should have clicked it. I'm like, what is this? It says Michigander going live. I knew I should have clicked it. My inner self was like, yeah, Michigander's going live. I knew I should have clicked it. Well, now I know you go live.
I do at like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I do it at all different times. I got a weird setup that I have to do to stay warm. So sometimes I wake up bored and I'll do it, and I do it on a whim. It's for a reason. But have you noticed your channel getting blocked and suppressed by chance or no?
My channel's always been suppressed, suppressed, hidden, you name it. I noticed when I started saying I got the application, I might get monetized. I was getting all types of views and people coming in. And then the other day I said, I don't think I'm gonna get monetized. Now, you know, I only get like 24 views. My live streams are barely hitting 100 when they were hitting like 240. So I just lose my enthusiasm to even do anything. I'm just like, for what?
That's why I told you last time it's a form of harassment because they're doing it to mine too, big time. Like I can literally sit there and talk with 7 people and watch 15 people come in and out of the chat. And when I shut it down and go look at the analytics, it'll say nobody watched it.
Huh.
And then I'll sit there with a live stream going for like an hour and it'll just block the feed. I can go with another utensil. I could take like another laptop or tablet and go look for myself doing a live stream and I can't find it because they're blocking it.
You gotta put the exact, you gotta put the name of the channel and the exact title to find it. They used to do that with my channel.
Don't let them discourage you from broadcasting because if they do, they won.
Yeah. Well, I just was doing an experiment too. I noticed sometimes the heading name, like if you put a slightly perverted heading name that somebody else would know, those seem to bang big numbers.
Like put on there something dumb like milk or whatever. Next thing you know, you'll have 1,000 views.
Hey, did you happen to check out the 2 songs that I sent you?
I checked out a couple of them, the rock and roll songs. Metallica. Okay. Wasn't it Metallica? Yeah, no. I think it was.
It was Disturbed. It was Disturbed.
Disturbed. There we go. I said Metallica.
Yep. And then there's another one that was by a band called Nevermore. Now they ended up killing the guy from Nevermore, but the first one is Simon and Garfunkel. Now the thing is, Simon and Garfunkel.
There you go. Simon and Garfunkel. My mother listened to them.
Exactly. They're from back before we were born. Now the thing is, now I get they were copying a song, but did you pay attention to the words?
No.
Go back and listen.
I did, but I don't remember them by heart.
Okay, well, pay attention to the words, and it falls in line with what Phil was saying. That's why I was expecting a reply from you or something. That's why I'm kind of going my own way with shit right now. I'm in awe right now. They did something.
Well, I replied. I did reply because I know you said, "Oh, you never answered me," and I told you. I was like, "Damn, let me answer so you don't think I'm ignoring you." And I said, "When I get home, I'll look at them." And I forgot to let you know I seen them.
Yeah, they're blocking my
I was listening to them.
Hey, they blocked it bad, dude, because I sent more comments after that and everything. Yep, they got my phone. They're doing shit to my phone, but I really don't give a rip. I'm over it. I got shit going on. I'm having fun in life. They can blow me.
Do you know Haywood?
But yeah. It's getting pretty gnarly out there. But yeah, anyways, them songs tie into with what Phil was saying. And I just happened to catch a couple movies and stuff. And my nieces and nephews were watching them, and it ties into what he was saying.
People hearing without listening.
Yeah.
People talking without speaking.
Yeah. The Gog and Magog story ties into it too. To the if you check out the Gog and Magog story, it ties into what Phil was talking about too.
Yeah, Magog, he was a giant.
No. The whole situation. I'll send you another link if I can find it. Shit. What was that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I had to go back through my history see if I could find it. But
it was more than one giant.
Yeah, it's it was talking about how the people that lived through the 1,000 years and stuff like that. It's got to do with a lot of different weird shit. Superhumans. It was talking about superhumans.
Living with regular humans.
Yeah, superhumans living with regular humans. And it has to do with that thing that Phil was talking about. Oh, yeah, your pineal gland. Do you know about your pineal gland, correct?
Yeah.
If you're showering in a municipal water system, it takes you years, okay, to clean that, to decalcify that. It's not just something you fucking do overnight. So that's an important thing, I think, and they tricked everybody on it. I quit smoking again, so I'm gonna quit smoking weed next. I've been cutting back slowly, step by step each day, and I quit smoking a week or so ago.
Remember, poison comes out of the public water system.
Of course.
Chloride.
Yup. They're I don't know, man.
Fluoride and chloride. Watch out.
Fluoride.
Yup. They say that the professionals say that the most dangerous and poisonous aisle in your supermarket is the toothpaste aisle.
Yeah.
Most toxic.
Yeah. Then I guess next comes what? Sugar? You said sugar?
Medication, I don't know.
Wait, a medication? Medication.
Then sugar.
Yeah. But yeah, focus on clearing out your decalcifying and stuff. Do you know what stuffs to eat and everything?
What happened?
What happened?
It went quiet. Let's see if this will work. Yeah.
All right.
Look at my logo now. That's what I'm talking about.
What is it? I can't see it so small.
The flat Earth spinning.
Oh,
it's on the Mercator map.
Doesn't matter whether it's flat or round. It's fucked. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see if this will work.
That is cool, dude. No kidding.
Let's see if this spinning one will work. Come on, picture upload. There we go.
Ding ding. It's spinning.
Yeah, that sucks. If it don't cover the whole screen, it pretty much sucks.
All right, my friend. I'm out of here, man. What time? I don't know the time difference between your place and my place. But I'll send a link here and there. I think it's literally blocking it because of the distance of the state and the country. I'm also having issues with my father too. When I text him too, we could be standing next to each other. So I think there's stuff going on with my phone. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I talk pretty hardcore smack. So have a good day.
All right, Michigander.
Later, Mitch. If you want, Charles, if you have a quick minute, maybe heighten the little icon that I have on mine. And they try to fit that sun and the moon idea.
I have that map too.
Yeah.
The one in your avatar.
Mm-hmm. Again, they're just pictures, but hence, when things like things beyond the sun, when people talk about Atlanta, Germanica, Odin, those could literally be landmass. So if people grasp the possibility, so is it a distraction with your flat Earth? Well, yes, because Earth just means dry land. So when we're looking at the picture that you have, absence of water, you have like some people call it the 7 heads kind of ideal.
Just trying different. I think these pictures right here, this type of stuff would be better just for a little logo. I don't think.
Again, this goes
and
back
I like the one you have. That map, more realistic than any other map.
Again, they're all art renditions of some sort, unless we know something that's high enough that can take those kind of pictures. And again, those are colored pictures. So, but again, the whole ideal of flat Earth or global is kind of ideal. So how does it serve now that you've known the beginning of the program? What can you do with that now? It's like when people say we did or didn't go to the moon. How does that serve? And who's it serving? If you follow people that said they did or didn't go to the moon, they become financially well off, and the masses get conditioned. They'll spend time fighting among themselves. Well, we did go to the moon. No, we didn't go to the moon. Well, I'm showing you this picture. I said, they're showing you their pictures. You're reading their Bible. But then that would
yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, Mark Basket piece, he said, Phil, who is Phil? And I'm thinking, where's Lonnie? Because he needs to get me some numbers so I could get a hold of Phil.
Well, I can give you I can probably give you Phil's number, but I don't think he's answering it. I don't know where he's at.
I know where he's at, but I don't want to.
Okay, keep it to yourself. And if it's that, when Phil's ready to explain him where he's been, that's up to him, I guess. We both know that.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to say nothing.
Yeah.
I figure whenever he returns to the coming to channels, I'll, if he wants to say it. I wonder what happened to Lucid, man. He don't even come by no more. I guess he ain't cool with me or something. So that's that. Hopefully he's doing good.
Yeah. A lot of us have to jump back into the program or, exist within the program. So not all of us have time to, hey, let's spend some time online. I get it. For some people, I hope you benefit from this, Charles. You can make some financial gains from it. Again, it's just another version of the program.
Financial gains, probably not.
Well, maybe
good friendships, yeah, and opening people's eyes and good conversation, yeah. And I met so many good people by starting to go live, and I was negative about it. I thought, ain't nobody gonna come to my live streams. No one's gonna come up and have good builds, and yet everything I said was wrong. I was being negative for nothing.
There's quality over quantity, like not everybody's going to have channels like Dubé and Bro Sanchez and the characters, because that brings different kinds of responsibilities when you have that kind of attention. I've had my garage open when people used to buy or sell things, come into my garage, and I said, no, we're sitting down, we're having a chit chat for a while. I don't usually say we're not, you're not, but I'll entertain certain ideas. Next thing you know, I'm talking to a total stranger for a couple of hours. They're giving me their inputs on what they perceive things. So as long as this is my view anyway, Charles, as long as you get in quality, doesn't always necessarily mean you have to have millions of people watching you, because there's billions of people that follow religion. It doesn't mean they're actually on any sort of positive path.
I'm texting. Hold on. Let's see if Lucid is around. I text him. He just disappeared one day. And AK. Well, AK came by. He's doing all right. I'm gonna see how he's doing. You run into any of them Ken Griffey Juniors, Mark? Probably not, but it was worth checking.
So I still have my Upper Deck one.
What year is it? 89?
Yeah, that's the first year that Upper Deck came out with baseball, right? Yeah. So
that's his rookie card then. 89. Does it say rookie on it? That's the one I need, man.
If I do,
I have two. I have two 89 Upper Deck sets, and they're both missing the 89 Griffey. The first one was stolen from me, and the second one I gave away, and then I regretted it. I gave it to my friend's son, and I'm like, shit, shouldn't have did that. But I was like, it's material. I'll get another one if I really want it.
You know what I'll do? I'll check my sets because I have them all boxed. But one of these days, I'll probably have to sell them. I even used to collect commemorative sheets and the promo cards. You know how the Upper Deck had the promo cards for each year. If I have an extra, I don't know why, but if I do have an extra Ken Griffey rookie card, I'll get your address and I'll just send it to you.
Yeah, anything Griffey, I would even buy if you wanted to get rid of them.
No problem. I know they had, I don't know if you remember this, but when they came out with hockey Upper Deck and basketball, I think hockey came out before basketball, but they actually made a promo card set of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And I think if you have them, I think they only gave it among the people that worked in Upper Deck. They could be worth thousands of dollars. You know how they came out with promo cards, like they came out with the Joyner card. Those were the promo cards. Or in hockey, I think it was Patrick Waugh and Wayne Gretzky, and I think basketball was Michael Jordan and what's his name from San Antonio. Fuck, I can't even think of his name. Big man from San Antonio. But anyway, I'll think about it. I used to collect those. And do you used to collect the hero sets?
I don't know, a Herald set?
Yeah, they would have like hero sets. Like they would have like.
I got this Griffey rookie. That rookie. That rookie. That rookie. That rookie. And this minor league card.
Interesting how we put values to like printed cards like we do with coins. Quite interesting, eh?
Yeah. Like Griffey was my favorite growing up. Like I wanted to be just like Griffey. I played baseball and everything. Well, actually, Wade Boggs is my favorite until Griffey came into the picture. Manny Ramirez. I wanted to be like Wade Boggs. Play third base.
Yeah, Red Sox. Yeah, I used to like the Red Sox. A good team.
And I thought I would never see them in the World Series to 04, 08, all the other two they won. But my aunt was so diehard in '86. Damn it, Lucid answered me back. I'm about to get in his ass. Why don't you come by no more? When my aunt in '86, I remember her crying when they lost to the Mets World Series. My aunt is probably to this day such, I haven't called my aunt and it eats me up. I should have called her, but.
Well, we have a rarity right now in baseball. It's kind of like Bo Jackson playing different sports. We have that, I forget his name, how to pronounce it, but the one that pitches it and he hits. He just got traded. He just got traded to the Dodgers from the Angels.
Oh, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, he's a rare specimen.
Red Sox should have got him. Well, I think he went to Toronto.
No, Toronto wanted him. No, the Dodgers ended up picking him.
He went to LA? Oh, my God. LA's got them and the Yankees.
Yeah.
They just got the Yankees the Red Sox traded Alex Verdugo to the fucking Yankees. Why would you do that? You got rid of your best outfielder to the rivals. And then they let the Yankees get to Juan Soto when they could have got him. Because Big Papi wanted Soto to go to Boston.
Yeah. All money.
I'm like, they have no one now, the Sox.
Mm-hmm.
They traded Verdugo, their best outfielder, for 3 pitchers I never heard of who have done nothing. I looked their stats up. That's the Red Sox, so they've been doing that my whole life.
I think a lot of times, Charles, it's like soccer and race car driving or whatever, like Formula One. You always stack the bigger teams at the top because there's a lot of revenue sharing, and the Yankees have their own TV coverage. It's like Juventus or Manchester for soccer. So a lot of these, the rich get richer kind of ideal, and they help feed the poor, you know. So they do that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm not so drawn into sports like I used to be.
Yeah.
You know, I would work, come home, and be the typical slave. Work, and then enjoy sports or watch. Before work, I would drink my coffee and watch ESPN. Just a typical slave, you know. And then when I learned sports is rigged, and you know, just I thought to myself, why do I care so much about these teams? It's like they don't pay me a fucking dime.
It's like video games or playing online poker. It's entertainment. Whether people want to admit it or not, they could turn around and say, well, Don, but I get paid. I said, still entertainment, regardless if you get paid or not. You know, I think most of us do. It might not come in the form of sports. It'll come in the form of soap operas or TV shows or movies or music. It's like, why do we listen to music? Well, it makes me feel good. Why do I watch sports? It makes me feel good. I'm not getting paid to hear music. Everything else, I'm actually paying to hear music. No different. I pay for online, or, you know, I only follow sports at this point, Charles, because I have a sign of a Virgo. I like analytical stuff. So I'll go on YouTube, Yahoo, and I'll follow stats. For me to watch a full game of anything, I have to be at a buddy's place. I say, okay, I'll watch a full game of hockey or basketball. Outside of that, no, what are the stats? You know, that's my Achilles heel, getting to stats. But, you know, Charles, I think we all do it in our own small little ways. You know, oh, but I don't watch sports, Tom. I only play it. I said, do you get paid for it? Well, no. So it's back to feelings again. You can apply your mental abilities to it to be better at a sport, but ultimately, like, you know, when I think of baseball, Charles, not to offend it because it's a beautiful craft, it's kind of like cricket. You know, you see a bunch of guys, even though the bowlers in cricket are different than baseball pitchers, you're just watching a bunch of guys throw a ball at each other, and every so often somebody makes contact. Hitting the ball getting on base 3 out of 10 times is not a really amazing stats in other crafts. If I was an electrician, well, I am an electrician, but if I had to do 10 plugs and only 3 of them work, I probably wouldn't have a job at the end of the day. You know, I'm a surgeon. 3 out of my 10 surgeries, people survive a simple surgery. I don't think you're really going to be a surgeon next week. Still fun to watch, and it's good to entertain oneself.
One day I'll show my collection. I had the 2018 set of tops, which I shouldn't have given away either. You know, I have a lot of good rookies. I have sets that haven't even opened. I'm just trying to get this 89 Griffey. I had the 89 Upper Deck and the 89 Bowman. I need both of them. The 89 Bowman set, I got the whole 89 set, but I'm missing the Griffey, just like the Upper Deck. And the 89 Upper Deck has like 8 Hall of Fame rookies in there. The set alone goes for like $600 in mint condition. So Peace Lap is blue. So
hey, then we can talk about people that have dolls. Sorry, go ahead, Charles.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's collective, but the problem with that is you got to find a buyer. So it ain't worth that until someone puts the money in your hand.
You just explained stock market. That's exactly what stock market is. People say, well, I have all these stocks. If you don't have an end user or an end purchaser, it's just talk. And this is why stocks is a very clever game, and the rich play a pyramid game. I don't care if it's Bitcoin they're playing with or they're playing with cattle. I think just recently they really over flooded not the card industry as much as the ideal of it. They made certain cards way more valuable than they should be because the people that are doing like the Beckett and all that, they were overinflating the ideal of what they're worth. Same with the
I
housing
gotta
market.
run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem.
You can just talk about whatever you want. If you want, Dominic, I just gotta run to the bathroom.
No problem. Thanks, Charles.
My bad. It's quiet. Quiet on the side.
Welcome back, Charles. Hey, give me an
Now
opportunity.
I never forget I got a live stream running. And a K. What do you got playing for today, Dominic? Nothing? Just chilling?
I'm probably going to go for a walk with my wife, Judith, in a bit. When you were gone for a bit, I was just listening to a bunch of the folks on OTW. Cage is there. Snafu's there. They're kind of making some cheap shots at Canadians. Us Canadians living in tents and igloos, living with wolves. It's another continent. That's all it is.
I would rather live with wolves than most of these humans.
I'm with you on there too, actually. Yeah. It's all fun. In my interpretation, it's all fun. It's like talking to people from India. It's different parts of the world. I find it fascinating when I hear different beings living in different parts of the world. It gives me a great opportunity. How is it to live in Australia or New Zealand? And even that, when I talk about Canada and America, what part? Because America's big, same as Canada. It's big. Again, that's naivety on people's part. They just assume, it's a small population. Yeah, Canada's small compared to America. America's small compared to India and China when it comes to population size.
It takes over 24 hours to go from one side of Africa to the other. Imagine going from the top to the bottom. Holy shit. Take you a week. No, I don't know that long, but Africa's huge.
They do all that flight game that they play so they can deny people realizing it's a flat, direct direction to go to Australia, opposed to going to, different parts.
I would love to go to Africa, and then where they say Lemuria is, I would love to jump on a boat, head towards that direction to see if I find Lemuria. I know they're hiding lands. We're so controlled and kept in such an indoctrination that they could hide land 100 miles off the coast and people wouldn't even know it was there, because you can only fly certain places. They probably got buoys in the water that'll trigger an alarm, and the Navy will be there in half a second. They'll blow you out of the water. But who knows until we try it, right? I died a free man. They say Canada is being taken over. This guy showed Toronto, and there was over 1,000 people from India in Toronto, in that area. I didn't see any Canadians. It was all people from India, and the guy was saying that Toronto is turning into India, and the Canadians are losing their grip on their country. And I said, welcome to my country. Same problem here.
Is it really a problem?
Not a problem, but
yeah. No, I'm asking because here in
the
Toronto,
problem's the government. That's the problem.
Well, it is human, obviously. Yes, I get what you're saying, Charles. Anytime it's religion, it's about humans. Same with state. Or in this case, government. You're saying it's human.
It's not those people's fault. I'm not, because if I were in their shoes, I would freaking want to come here too. It's the government and how they go about doing it. They'll let them just come in, and then they'll give them everything they need and want. I've seen people come in from other countries get houses, but the poor people that been in this country their whole life and worked their ass off at factories, and then they closed and lost everything, they don't get no help. And if they do, it's very little. But they let all these people come from other countries and give them everything. And it's like, well, what about the people that have been there their whole life here? Why don't they get in that same help? So I don't know. Then I'm racist when I bring that up. Oh, how dare you? You're a European.
Well, there could be a form of discrimination. Like I'll give you an example here in Canada. They had waves after the war. A lot of people were, fleeing from their countries. In certain places, Ukrainians and Polish were coming to certain parts of Canada. Same with the Irish, the Italians, the Portuguese. Now we're seeing other people coming over, whether it's from India or China. Now, what people usually get caught up is in their appearance. When a bunch of people come in from Ireland to a country to Canada that look like Polish, they might not necessarily see the difference. Most countries, if not all countries, have been built by other beings, humans. So people get comfortable and they think because they live there long enough, it belongs to them. I said, no, most of those big corporations have just been interchanging you. Now, it's different when you're your own farmer and you've been growing your own crops for yourself. That's one thing. But if you're relying on your crops being bought by outside people, now you're playing in the system. And this is where people become children again. Here in Canada, we have a lot of Asians here. That's a different type of invasion, and it's not a bad thing. They understood when they did the one child per family, and I'm talking about the United Nations. China just had to enforce it. Basically, they knew that would give them an opportunity. So, but you can go into other countries and basically have more kids and all that. But people don't really understand the Chinese system. But when they go to these other countries, they're not allowed to have their citizenships there. So there's a lot of Canadians, Chinese in Canada. They're not allowed to have citizenships here. This is where humans, again, judge out of fucking ignorance. Go to India, find out the middle class of India is bigger than fucking America is. But unfortunately, most people in America, no offense to the citizens in America, forget you're living in the fucking empire. Rome went to Yorkshire, England, then they went to New York. They blew up the fucking Twin Towers to show people we're making a shift. They've been spending a lot of money in Dubai. They've been rearming themselves in Russia. They moved most of their corporation in China. But the people that are in America, you fucking benefited because it's a capitalist country taking advantage of all the other isms. And when people in America say, well, these other countries, you're talking out of ignorance. I'm not saying you, Charles, per se, but a lot of them do. Talk out of utter ignorance. They don't even know what's going on one state to another state. I don't know everything's going on in Canada, but I do understand China. A lot of them went to Vancouver. Why? Because when they released England from China, because, the monarchy already runs China and India, they're just saying, we're going to move our presence out of there, but we're still going to rule it. So then they play with the stock market into there. If people understood how things really work, they would realize, holy fuck, I've been asleep the whole fucking time. But
I was speaking ignorantly, but
we all do.
I agree.
We all do.
I admit it when I do. I have no problem with that. But like I said, I wasn't blaming the people.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to come here too, because we are in every country in ways are better and worse in their own ways than our country, and we're better and worse in our own ways than other countries. So, but it's just the way the government goes about doing stuff, and like our tax money and all that goes to, it seems, everything else but our own country. That fires me up, but I can't do nothing about it.
But you can you can become aware. So I'll give you an example, Charles. Just an example. The money that they collect, called taxes, does not go back to the citizens at all. Not a single fucking dime. That's why the American government, when they say we're here to pass a budget, that money is called tribute. Whether you pay a parking ticket, it goes to a corporation. Whether you pay for your license as a doctor or electrician, it goes to a corporation. When you pay property tax, that's called tribute. It goes to them. It makes the Dow Jones look like a fucking child. Now, when people in America say, well, but it's our country. No, it's not. It's a corporate country ruled by a landmass that have rulers. Now, in Canada, we have a social system. Our social system has a medical coverage. That's the privilege that they give to us. In America, you have a currency that devalued itself, and in 2005, it's worth 9 cents to the dollar. The rest of the world is held hostage internationally to trade with that currency, even though it's useless. So everybody's in debt. So what have they been doing for the last 15, 20 years? They've been using the yin and the rubles to finance America's fucking collapsed economy. Now, why would they do something like that? Because they've already moved. So now, what happens when a country fuels another country that's in debt? It devalues their currency. Then what then we're going to do then? Then we're going to put our gold reserve on their devalued currency. America's currency is dead. So now, why does America's empire still stay afloat? Because they've been spending a lot of money on military. And what is an American military boy doing when he says, I'm defending my country in another fucking country?
Taking. We can't have it, we'll take it.
That's right. But what are they really doing? They're monitoring elites' stuff. You can't be saying a person that's in the military, that's forced to join the military, and I'm saddened for the citizens there. They're in the military. They're learning to basically what? Defend their country as they're in another country? That's not defending.
There's more bases overseas and in other countries than we have on our own soil.
Now we're understanding. So when they toppled the German nation, even though they didn't topple the German nations, the Americans' presence has been in all these other countries since the war. But the question now is, when Donald Trump said false flag, what was he really talking about? He was talking about an old tactic because he was told to read from a script because he's a fucking puppet to no end. They basically said in the old days, when you won a war, you would tell the other nations, keep waving your fucking flags. So the American flag is a fake, and they play with all the different versions of it. The German nation's been ruling ever fucking since. And then when you follow the barons, the Rothschilds, the monarchies of England, the Pope, that was the German Pope, fucking playing with the Polish one that was probably dead a long time ago. But yet the American people think, well, but we're still ruling. You were never ruling. And even now, where is a place called America? Is it the States? When they wrote the Constitution, we the people and our prosperity, we the nobles and our prosperities get to govern over what we call the U.S. Why? Because the monarchy of England says you can be our nobles over there. And that's why we have terms like Freemasons.
That's going to be my live stream tomorrow, Dominic. I'm glad you just said that.
Please go ahead.
Title it, Are the People the Power in America? Go ahead, my fault.
Yeah, well, they are people. You know, they're not talking about the citizens and the peasants. They're talking about the people, the nobles. They're not even talking monarchy at that point. But it'll be tough for a lot of people to wrap their head around that because they'll get too busy. Well, I said, well, how do you think it works? Do your research. They've never lied to anybody. The only people that are doing lying or misleading is them to oneself. They're our enemies. You don't got a fucking clue who your enemy is. Because if they're your enemies, they're also your friend. Why? Because they're giving you everything that you want. You want a car? We'll build it for you. Actually, no. We'll give you the ideal of the car, and then we'll get your own to build it. Well, we need a factory. We'll get your own to build it. What about military? We'll give you your own. The only thing we have to do, as long as we keep giving the illusion of pieces of paper, because the elites don't play with money. They think it's dirty. That's why they do things like NAFTA and all that kind of stuff. They're just bartering back and forth with each other. You don't have to pay taxes if you're not playing with money. And the only thing we ever see is their minions. Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, who else? The Clintons. They're little minions. But a lot of people would enjoy reaping in those pretend millions or billions of dollars, you know. Then you go a little bit further. You can go to the Carney family. You can go to the Rothschilds. You can go to the DuPont families. You're seeing it just another level. Now, they could be in clubs, and most of them are, and they're not paying taxes, but they're probably paying a lot of heavy club membership dues because everybody thinks for some reason it's free. The word free is funny. Free will, freedom of speech. How does freedom of speech work when you're dealing with commerce? When you're dealing with a corporation? Interesting. Anyway, I went way too long. I apologize, Charles, but you know, some people have a tough time with what I said, and they'll make it about me. And I'm the kind of person that says a self-absorbed person making it about me. That's fucking funny. get back in your lane, realize it's a two-way lane. For most people, it's a one-way fucking street. And then they say, well, I care about my kids. You don't got a fucking clue who you're caring for. Because if you did you teach your kids how to breathe? No. Did you teach your kids how to digest their food? No. So who the fuck is talking then? But dumb. Yeah, okay, here we go. Here's the story. They're going to tell me their little life story. I was born in a gender form. I'm like, okay, so who created it? Did you really come out of the womb? Did you jump in? Because if you were in that womb, then shouldn't they do the horoscope based on the 9 months prior? Or why do they only do it from the time you're there? Is the Bible written for the human form, or is it written for something else? Because you can't save the body. It's always aging. It's going to perish. And me and you, Charles, if we decide to jump in a car, I don't wish this upon us, but we can easily get into an accident. And then all of a sudden we get popped out of this uniform. Oh, I don't believe in that. Then what do you believe in then? That would be the question I'd ask somebody. What do you believe in then? Anyway, Charles, I'm off. Buddy.
I don't.
Go ahead. Sorry. Sorry, Charles. My apologies.
Oh, you don't have to apologize. I was listening. I was just reading a text from Lucid. Lucid said, "What up to everyone?" Me, Lucid used to come through. We would have good builds, but after he went through what he went through, I can't imagine going through what Lucid went through. That's tough shit. I would have PTSD supermax.
Can I play on some terms, Charles?
Yeah.
What we do with each other is we actually hear each other. The word ear gives it away. Listening is a form of meditation. We should be listening from within all the time. A lot of people forget, because usually that's why we have the sense of prayer, inquire, peace, silence, meditate, listen. That's why they say peace be upon you, silence be upon you, because the ego, the ongoing program, doesn't understand it's supposed to follow, not lead. Hence words like self-aware opposed to aware of the self. And you said another term. I get the concept of build, but what's the foundation? Most people build on top of a foundation they've never truly examined. So it sounds nice. It's like when we say the word truth. I'm building. You know, it's a cliche.
Well, when I say let's build, just for, well, I said it earlier, but but I mean, like, let's build off the topic being the foundation of the whole entire, build. Foundation will be the title or the topic or the subject, and then we build off of that, like sort of like a tree, built branching off from the trunk. The trunk would be the foundation or the topic or subject, and the branch off would be, people's perspective or opinions or facts or whatever.
So let's go a little bit lower in the layers then. What about the roots?
True.
I'm just putting words out there to ponder, because most people come into a
What about the seed? Right?
And now and then you also have to ponder, how does the earth become so heavy when it comes from a seed? That's a game that we can play with each other. But again, the foundation for most people, they come in with their judgments. So whatever they're going to build, they're going to move from one side to the other. Well, I don't agree with flat earth. So that's a judgment. That's their foundation. Unless their foundation is I'm just going to hear information. I'm not judging it. I'll note it. Hence chakras. It'll be noteworthy. And this is where people never challenge the self. They say the word know thyself, who's the knower not in the self. And once you realize that and you do your research, you're seeking from within, then you realize, but there's also the observer. The observer goes beyond the knower in the self. And then there's the observed. And again, I get it. It's all cliche. Yo, fucking we're building today. Fuck, you don't got a fucking clue what you're doing, buddy. But hey, keep filling your boots. Again, we have a foundation. And that foundation can even go further inwards. This is where we would go with the ideal of negative, the feminine, the unknown, the negative energy, the feminine energy is the teachable energy. Most people have forgotten how to be teachable, but they're programmable. And most people are programmed. What do you think the flat earth and globe is all about? That's about a program. They're not actually teach yourself and say, well, wait a second here. I'm seeing a whole bunch of stuff here. I don't see nothing up there. Haven't been high enough. I have no conclusive answer. So you're ready to be the student finally. Now, anybody that ever tells you that you're your teacher, ask them. Who taught you how to breathe? Well, I don't know. I said, then you're not the teacher then. That's a tough one because we have teachings, but no teachers. That whole concept of teachers too. Go ahead.
It's interesting, man. You say that, who taught you how to breathe? Because our parents didn't teach us how to breathe. You know, when we're born, it just, boom, you start breathing. Oh, so what is that like? It's like what is that? Planted in the DNA or in the seed? You know, it's like memory of it just automatically happens.
Well, we say that. We quickly make that a quick layover. It's like, oh, who gave us car? It just was, that's what it is. Opposed to, but then you can start inquiring, okay, well, if I don't know who taught me how to breathe, then you could be the student. Then you can start asking questions. Well, then what's prana? What's air? My fellow little student, you're ready finally. Then the teacher will come from within. We have many receivers, not outside, none of that fucking bullshit crap outside where people say, well, but I had a teacher in a classroom. No. When whoever's teaching in a classroom, the rest of us are there for marks. The one that's actually supposedly teaching should be the student. The teacher's the one, or he calls himself a teacher or her a teacher. They're the ones that have to learn the stuff that they're preaching. When I talk, I'm the student. I'm hearing my crap. That's for me. What other people do with it, that's on them. I'm not here to sell anything to anybody, but people will still consume it. And I don't give a shit if it's religion, state, science, biology, commerce. It could be anything.
It is true. People, we call them teachers, but what are they teaching? What they're told to teach? To taking textbooks and just regurgitating. They should be called regurgitators.
That's what I am.
They're really not teaching anything.
I'm a parrot. Only thing is I've kind of stumbled it by accident because, you know, I used to wear headphones, go to sleep, and I was taking in all kinds of information and then realizing later on the subconscious could take way more information than the waking state can. The waking state is like the
I got to try that. Got to try that.
Yeah, some people, it works for them. It's kind of like,
you know,
go ahead.
I just want to say I used to, when I was in prison and I used to sleep with headphones on because it was so loud at night on the tear. Or even when I was younger, I would do that. And then I would hear songs and know the freaking words to them. And I'm like, but how the hell do I know? You know, it's not my favorite song. It's because I was sleeping with the radio on.
Well, we have a concept of called embodying. So our midbrain can take in a lot of information. So it's kind of like when you look at a computer. You have the ongoing program, but then you have a hard drive that's way more information's in that hard drive than actually on the ongoing program, like the app or whatever. But then we also have other things going to it, electricity and Wi-Fi. So those are different sources on top of it. So we're depictuating us. We are the computer, in this case, what we say we are, but we're receivers from somewhere else coming within the vessel. Again, this is why people do mantras. They're chanting over and over again, and then it embodies it. So somebody that hears music over and over again when they're asleep, they're putting it in their molecules. They're embodying all that information. And for some people, it'll come out in a source. They know how to sing it, or they know how to remember certain things. Hence why some people can visualize making a sport like basketball shot, and other people have to keep practicing it over and over again physically. But if they learn how to visualize it internally, it'll help your body align itself. So when people say, geez, I'm just making that easy free throw now, because we forget those kind of things. And the schooling system is not going to teach that to us, because most people are caught up in the evil world, the material world. If they can't see it or have one of their senses participating in it, then therefore it's what? Not real? Well, then where are thoughts? Is that real? Where's the words that I just speak? Is that real? Where's my feelings? Is that real? You know, people don't question those things, but yet they'll say the word, I question things. You don't.
When you said our feelings real, I used to question that when I was younger. I used to say, what makes us mad? You know, I used to sit back, especially when I got stoned. I feel like my mind opened up more, and I would think all this wild stuff, and you know, what makes us mad, what makes us cry, and then you learn about sound and how it changes the molecular structure. But you know, what is crying? What triggers that? You know, how does sound, like certain sounds, like they play certain music, it'll make you cry. But what's triggering that? What's an emotion? You know, I always think about that stuff.
Yeah, energy, emotion. Yeah, it's Charles. You're with me at that point when it comes to that. It's all like, oh, interesting, and I'll ponder it. Doesn't necessarily mean it'll come to me, but when it does, it's like, oh, fuck, what do I do with that? You know, all emotions, what are they? What is anger? What is sadness? You know, what I think a lot of us try to do is we try to become junkies, but I want to be happy all the time. No, that's a moment in time. And even that, what's time? You know, does time exist in the physical realm, or does it exist somewhere else? You know, because what I have on the outside, it looks like it ages. Eventually it's perishing. It gets to a certain point and then it starts deconstruction. You know, think about us. Most of us are elasticity in our skins, even the elasticity in our brain waves. And a lot of people will have, not a lot of people, let's not hope nobody does, but they do, they get Alzheimer's. You know, why is that memory no longer working? Is that somewhere in the water? Is that somewhere in the blood? You know, why can't people communicate with water?
Huh.
You know, can we communicate with the blood?
Christos, I just seen a short. He was drinking this, I forgot the name of the product. Joe Rogan, it's something for the brain. It's like food for the brain or something. And he spoke into the bottle, Christos did. And then he drank it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always forget when I'm going to drink or eat to speak into it. Kind of like, you know, I forget this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to program myself to remember.
Well, there's concept and they put labels on it because they're already feeding to people that have programs or their likes and dislikes. People will hear the word spiritual cooking, but not understand what it really is, let alone understand what material cooking is all about. Does it really benefit us when we eat dead food, opposed to, think about liquor? What happens to a person when they get into spiritual drinking? You know, some people can drink gold. Some people can drink urine. Some people can drink water. You know, actually, a lot of people drink water. So what's in water? Memory. What can water do? Shapeshift. So when we eat things like dead food, I call it for what it is, it's dead food. Are we reinforcing the aging process? And even that, once you realize, am I eating for who I am or am I eating for the body? This is where some people become aware of body consciousness. They can communicate with the body. And then there's another thing called access consciousness, where you can actually even trick the mind, not the brain, the mind. We're in a thing called the mind, hence hive mind. All languages are stored in the mind. But what is the mind? Meant, man. These are inquiries, you know. I don't have answers. I'm just sharing awareness. What people choose to do with that information, that's on them.
Just to rewind real quick, Anna Kay was saying she was watching a movie, and the music made her cry and it wasn't what she was watching. And I just want to say, and I've, like Dominic said, that sound is the emotion. And it makes sense because if you turn the movie down and there's no sound, the music, and the sad scene, you're not going to cry. But as soon as you put that music on, that it makes the scene sad. It's not the scene itself, it's the music they're playing behind it. If you just watch the scene, it's most likely not going to make you cry until that sad violin starts coming in. But anyway.
If it's something new, but if you've seen like Hallmark movies and you see the pattern that's in it, that the couple's going to kiss at the end, or you see a very kind deed, they will be overwhelmed, and there's that moment of sadness or joy. In that case, it comes in the form of joy. Now, for some people, they've ignored it, so they've forgotten how to actually have an appropriate emotion towards a situation. That's why some people will get angry where it clearly shows from within. That's not the appropriate emotion to express. But people are still going to do it. And hopefully they reflect on it and say, oh, I didn't realize I wasn't really supposed to be angry at that moment. Why? I was seeing two kids playing with each other. Why was I angry? And then you realize, because I wasn't patient. I was too busy wanting to do other things. This is why when people are in a situation where their loved one's in the hospital, they're suffering, they're under some sort of life support. They want them to move on, but yet they want them not to leave because they don't want to, they're attached to them. So now they have a thing called mixed emotions. And yes, as Anne's talking about it, you put in frequency and sound in the form of music. No different when I say to somebody, I said, you're never going to be, especially if they watch a movie like Jaws. Oh, I'm scared of sharks. I said, you can't be scared of Jaws. What do you mean? Because if you're underwater, they have to play music then. Jason's not going to get me. Why? Because there has to be some street light. It has to go out, and he has to.
There has to be a furnace in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Freddy Krueger. Sorry. That used to terrify me, Dominic. That damn furnace.
Or when I used to
go in the basement.
Yeah, I was there too. Yeah, darkness. Yeah, I've been there myself. Like, what's in the unknown? I remember one time my wife's daughter was saying to me, how does she put it? I don't want to watch the scary movie because I'll have nightmares. And I remember telling her, I said, why don't we ask the cameraman? I think she must have visualized in that moment. There must be a cameraman. She started to laugh. So that tells you how easy emotions can easily be altered. You can use the word trick if you want, but it could easily be altered. How much is background jingles when they're doing commercials? How much does that affect the mind or the brain in this case, or the body?
Do you remember, Dominic, in school? Like, I remember in the 80s or late 80s, I was in elementary school, and even I think 6th grade in middle school, they would put these headphones on your ear, press these buttons, and it'd be like beep, beep, and you'd have to raise your left or right hand.
Programming. That's all programming, Charles. Yes, that's all programming.
The tones and frequencies. They want to see what you can hear. And I always wondered, what were they doing? Like, seeing what tones and frequencies they could use on TV to some of the sounds they would press, you could barely hear them, but they were there. Are they trying to see what the human ear can pick up? Because they don't do those tests from what I know now anymore. I've asked my friends if their children, they don't do these tests anymore. So I don't know.
They move them around because eventually a generation will be conditioned. They do the same thing with fashion. If people really understood all the different things are going on with different genres of music, like rap. Now imagine a person that's doing lyrics, poetry with Baroque music now. That's a different kind of sound. Baroque music it'll get you in a state. It's one of the better music to listen if you want to study things. But rap music is a little bit different now. That tonality in rap does something else. No different than country music. So, but I get it. Most people get caught up in their foundation of likes and dislikes. Oh, I like rap. I said, but do you understand rap? Well, Dom, I know how to sing. I said, no, I never asked you if you know how to sing it. Do you understand it? Do you understand the tonality that comes from it? And then you factor in a person that has a different kind of monotone voice. You got to factor that in too.
The tones. There's something with the rap music, because
Mm-hmm.
I could listen to some rap music and it makes me angry and want to hurt somebody. I'd be mad, and I think, you could do a drive-by with this song, right? So it puts you in an angry mind state, and I'm like, man, is this why they do this type of music? Like, what are they doing to it to make people angry and want to go kill people and shit? What is within this music? It can't be just a normal beat. They're adding stuff, certain tones or something that trigger, like these triggering sounds.
And that's what I'm saying. They get everybody into their likes and dislikes. If a person goes through all the different spectrums of different types of fashion and music throughout the world, they could see patterns in all that stuff. But I get it. Most people, even the pattern of doing it for the sake of attention and earning money from it. Again, those are patterns. Now, some people say, but Dom, you don't understand. I said, the fact that you just told me that tells me a lot about you. It's not about another human being understanding you. That's your responsibility, because you're the one that lives in that vessel. You're the one that monitors it. Now people understand somatica, see how somatica affects different elements. We could be different types of elements. And in that, it gets affected. Some people might enjoy rap music, but then you have to factor in other things. Am I in a group of other people that like it too, or are just hearing it? And that's where the stronger energy people will flow. You're not trying to go against the current. You're probably trying to go with the current. Not to take away from it, because then you got to factor in instruments, man-made instruments, And then if you start doing things where people are dancing with it, that's another type of energy. You look at a person that does shuffling or breakdancing or some other kind of dance form. You're moving the energies with the physical part. But for a lot of folks, they're not interested in that kind of stuff, which is fine. You know what I mean? But it's when they start judging it. Well, then you should at least understand those things before you make that judgment. It goes back to looking at symbols. Now we're talking about symbology when we're looking at the G. How does that work? Am I bringing in a whole bunch of conditions before I look at that? And I have myself too. I've had my disdain towards what people that's been fed to me through, I don't care if it's written work or some YouTube or some spoken word about the elites. Eventually, one day I said, sometime let's spin that a little bit. Do you even know who they are? No, not really. So then what are you bitching and complaining about as you're going to the grocery store? This is me talking to myself like in third person. I'm like, yeah, who am I bitching and complaining about? You don't even put an effort to try to understand how all the foods work. Oh, so I'm really kind of a hypocrite. Yeah, to no end. But I get it. People want to join clubs. That's what religion does. That's what state does. Join a club. I need people to join my pursuit that we have an enemy. Okay, so how did that work for Martin Luther King? Or was he just paid shill or an agent to wean everybody else that were underground? It's like when people say, I'm a 5%er. Okay, so what, you're 4% over 1% milk? What does that mean?
That's funny.
I get it. These are all clubs, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, they say the 85% is the dumb, deaf, and blind.
They say that, but who are they? The 15%?
I forgot how it goes. 85% of dumb, deaf, and blind. Then there's the 10%. That would be 95. Then there's, I think it goes 85, 10%ers. Then you have your 3%ers, your 2%ers, and your 1%ers. That's 101. So, man, I think there's the 3%ers, 1%ers. How the fuck? I don't remember, but.
Well, Charles, you do hear people say, "Hey, give it 110%." Fuck, where do I get the other 10%? If we go with a common ideal that is 100%, I like to think I'm the 0.0001 aware idiot. but we're 100% all of us are idiots. I'm just the few that are aware of being an idiot. Even that might be me being an idiot on top of being an idiot. I'm okay calling myself an idiot, you know, but it's interesting when other people will call somebody else an idiot. What does it say to a person when somebody calls another person a moron? I would like to think it makes me a moron, you know, but I get it. People like to lash out. They're doing the biblical story. I want to point fingers. It's their fault. No, it's their fault. It's my parents' fault. So how do we not know our parents were not conditioned too? Well, yeah, but they should have known better. So you're trying to say to me that your parents did this on purpose? I don't think most people purposely go out of the way to harm each other. You know, and somebody said, like even you said, Charles, you've been in prison. Well, what happened if you find out you've been in prison in that vessel the whole time? So now that becomes like the Russian doll.
That's why I said you don't need to be in prison. You don't need bars. I said that in my rhyme because you could be imprisoned in your mind. You could be imprisoned many other ways. Necessarily, you don't need a box with bars. That's for sure.
That's why
the mind is the worst prison. If you're imprisoned in the mind, you know.
Now you're tapping in on it, Charles. You're tapping in now. We're talking about. See, people will think it's the brain. No, it's the mind. This is why people can do access consciousness. You can go beyond the mind. But again, once you speak it in the language, now you're participating back in the mind, let alone written. That's why you hear some of those people that are in India, they're sitting there, they're not moving at all. They're in stillness and they're meditating. They're trying to work past the mind. But for most of us, yeah, but Tom, I want to go to work. Well, then you're back down in the mind. Well, yeah, but I'm not talking. I said, you're using physical stuff. What makes you think about getting in that car? Turning on that key when you're driving, and then you see, where was that last 5 minutes? Something's always running it. Now, either the mind is there to be your prison guard, or it's there to serve you. Person wants to be a criminal. He wants to be really good at it. The mind will help. Person wants to be a churchgoer. The mind will help you. It's when we fight among ourselves thinking, yeah, but this way is better than the other way. I said, no, it's all the mind. We even give it away with words: government, entertainment, amusement, settlement. You know, the word mint, Latin, mind.
Basement.
Mind. Basement, yeah.
Yeah, why do they call the house a base? What the hell? I always wondered that. Why are they calling it a basement? Your house.
Yeah. And some
base
people,
of what?
Yeah, they call it the utility room sometimes. And they call it basement.
What the base of what meant? Like, you got your foundation to the house. I always thought, where the hell did they get that word basement?
There might be an origin of how, and then it gradually developed itself or manipulated itself into different terms. I always found it fascinating. I would hear a British person speaking, but then when they sing, they don't have a British accent. You know, or the first time I ever met a gentleman here in Canada, and he was from the Arab nations, and I was talking to him, and then I heard this really strong British accent. I actually had to take a take back. I had to step back. I'm like, okay, I've never seen it coming out of an Arab person speaking British, with an accent.
Accents are interesting. How I could drive, let's say an hour south to New York City, and their accent is different than, you know, people in central Connecticut. And if I drive an hour north or northeast to Boston, you got a completely different accent there. So peace forever, love. But I gotta end this live stream in a couple minutes. I gotta go do a bunch of stuff.
Enjoy yourself, Charles. And I'll dig in the garage today, my card collection there. And if I see a rookie card of,
it don't have to be a rookie. It could be any Griffey's or Manny or Red Sox or you know. That's what I collect.
And once I get it on the private chat, if you want to give me your address or wherever you want me to send it to, I'll send it to you.
I appreciate it.
Always. Enjoy yourself, okay?
All right, Dominic. Thank you, man. Appreciate you coming up.
Thanks.
Yeah, Dominic was cooking. I always appreciate everyone, but I really appreciate when Dominic comes up on the panel and shares. Keeps me thinking for sure. And a lot of stuff he speaks on allows me, or when he speaks on topics or certain things, I take them and apply them to my life, and it helps me find my higher self, or it helps me. How could I put it? I'll just say it helps me in many ways. And I love the fact that I could put that owl in the background. Now I wonder if there's a way I could make it more visible here. Is there a way to shrink? What's this? Picture and picture layout. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just messing with the. I tried to make it so the owl could be on like the screensaver type, but unfortunately it won't upload that way. But appreciate everyone. Anna K, Forever Love, Dominic, Mark Basket, Michigander. Remember everyone that came through without looking. Native Candy, Native Michigan, B. Freeman. I know there's more people. Lonnie, Joe King, Kimba, Asa Melt, and I know there's a couple more. Scott Severini, I know it. And I think Yolanda came through. S. And I don't know. I appreciate you too, Anna K. Did anyone check out OTW's live stream yesterday? Shout out to OTW. Mr. Super Spider. Sorry. Mr. Super Sidewinder. I don't know why I said spider. I got to do chapter 2 today for that book. I said that a few times. I haven't gotten to it, but I'm going to get to it today at some point. And I'm working on new music. And I have to, I go live so much that I really don't have any set content. I just do content as it comes. But I will be putting more stuff out. I wanted to go to the Capitol. That never happened as many times. That's why I don't like saying stuff. Because then if it don't happen, I feel like I let down or I'm a liar. But soon I'm going to go to that Capitol because that is going to make a great video worth watching. Maybe I'll do it live because out of all the capitals I've seen in this United States, Hartford's capital is the most interesting and the most beautiful architecture I've seen out of any capital. So if people aren't in Connecticut, look at Hartford Capitol building. It'll blow your fucking mind. The statues that are on there, I mean, you could tell that people like us didn't build that. I don't care about the pictures they show, you know, with wooden, what do you call them things they put in front of a building? The, those, trying to think the name, scaffolding. I don't care if they show pictures with scaffolding if on these buildings with big stones. They could be repairing them from that major incidents. Yeah, there's an obelisk too in New Britain. Was rich, like Stanley Works. The guy Stanley had a mansion up near Stanley Quarter Park, because I think Stanley Quarter Park was his property. And then the mansion got knocked down, and I don't know where he moved, but we used to hike up to the foundation of the mansion, and it's said to be haunted. But the guy owned a lot of property, and there's a lot of Masonic rich history in this city. Now, as far as underground tunnels, I've yet to find any. But if I do, my old ass is climbing down in them. But maybe I'll go live later. My next live stream is going to be, are the people the power? And when I say that, I'm not questioning if we are the power, because we are. I'm questioning, people say the people are the power in America. Well, are we? Because if we are, what are we waiting on to really, you know, if the people are the true power, why is the government ruling everything? Why every time we have a say or want to change something, it never happens? Because of corruption, we know that. But I'm starting to question, the people were never the power as far as in this country. Because every time we have a problem, none of these people go to prison. You know, they're not held accountable, you know, and people use the religion anchor. Oh, they'll burn in hell one day, which is a crock of shit. They need to burn in hell now for everything they've done. They need to pay while they're in the flesh. But anyway, that'll be the next live stream. And I appreciate you all. Have a great day, night, morning, evening. And I will see y'all later, man. Peace out. One love. And I'm out of here.